just can't let you go. Lord knows that I've tried to. You said I was the only one. No one likes being lied to. You made this mess and left me with the pieces. Now I wanna burn all the bridges between us. I can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head.
There should be a little bit more. We should watch the rest of it though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, here we listen.
Because there's Doug being Doug. Like if you don't have time to watch the whole stream, listen to the clips and then get sucked in because it's bad. It's Doug being Doug. Dear God.
Listen, I'm just your resident Gen X trying to navigate technology here is what's happening. Shout out to all my Gen X peeps.
Aaron, you're doing so well. I'm so proud of you. You're doing it.
Thank you. I definitely want to learn. I definitely want to learn how to do stuff. In fact, for those of you that are joining us, I was like, hey, I have a tech question for you. And she's like, oh, yeah, you can totally do it this way and that way. And she's like, I'll send you a video real quick. And I'm like, oh, my God, thank you. It's the best. I appreciate it.
Yeah. This is your first mobile stream too, right?
This is my first mobile stream. Yeah, which is why, I stopped the intro sooner. And then, there's going to be some hiccups, but we're going to try it. Here we are.
Yeah. Let's go.
How y'all doing? What's everybody up to? Tell me everything. Tell us everything.
Oh, Brandy Lee, don't hate the mobile stream. Come on. It's just that we're just trying it out for one tiny second. And y'all, I mean, we're just trying it out.
You might hate it, Brandy Lee, but you know that I am sending you lots of love,
When you're on your phone, though, it's really cool because the chat will overlay with the mobile stream. So you can have the chat up and us up without making it too small to see. So there's some positives. There's some positives about the mobile stream. So
And we appreciate y'all being here. Even if you're not a fan of the mobile stream, we appreciate you. And yeah, in case you happen to be brand new, my name is Erin Bees. I am a wife, a mom, a military veteran. I'm studying to become a certified personal trainer, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by their reps. And this is my friend DC.
Hello, I am DC, as Aaron just said. I'm a multi-level marketing dropout. I actually got out in 2022 with the help of Aaron. I don't know which way I'm supposed to be pointing, but I was in Young Living and Mary Kay Cosmetics from 2014 till 2022, and here I am causing trouble on the internet, trying to expose multi-level marketing companies for people like me who have gotten sucked in and trying to process their way through it and figure out how to live life after multi-level marketing. So I'm happy to be here today. Roasting Doug.
This podcast was sent to me. I immediately texted DC and was like, hey, I'm hearing some things about this podcast. I feel like maybe we should talk about it. You want to do this with me? And she was like, yes. So here we are. And I feel like let's start with some content warnings because I've heard some things, but I have not previewed this in full on my own. So I know that there are mentions of Doug making comments about Tia's body. I know that there is mention of Tia walking around without any clothing on in front of children, and children walking around without clothing on in front of Tia. And that makes me feel some type of way, just like I'm sure it will for some of you. So I want to make sure that you guys are prepared for that. We are talking about Optavia. These two individuals are in Optavia, so you can expect that there's going to be conversations around disordered eating, eating disorders, terrible relationships with food, things like having to earn food, which you don't have to, assigning some kind of a moral value to food, which there shouldn't be any kind of moral value when it comes to food, and things of that nature. So please prepare yourselves for that. And I'm sure, DC, you have some other...
Yeah. There's going to be some religious twistiness because Doug and Tia believe that the state of your body is a direct reflection of your relationship with God. They're both Christian. It does get twisty on top of everything that Aaron's laid out. So if you think you're going to get slimed because of the religion, of the body shaming, of the really like just inappropriate connections that Doug Wood makes with like everything, this might not be the stream for you. We always want to be careful of your mental health and give you a heads up so that you can make an informed decision about what content you participate with on the internet. So yeah, that's my 12 cents.
I love it. I love it. All right. So if you have not already, if you would like the stream on both of our channels, that would be incredible. And make sure that you're subscribed so that you can get in here and participate in the chat. And also want to give a quick shout out to the replay crew. We appreciate you guys so much. Okay. Ooh, do we want to start this?
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, God. Okay. Listen, bear with me, guys, because I don't know how this is all going to work with the setup and the mobile stream. So we're just going to go with it. Okay. All right.
Love it.
Back to the Doug and Tia Unplugged podcast.
Why is he talking like that? Also, I'm using StreamYard for this, and there's no way to do like custom layouts yet. So I'm just going to click on some things and see how we feel. That's not it. That's not it. Although, hi.
Hello.
Oh, I should have done that.
This is a great layout for us talking. Maybe we can do this when we're taking breaks between the talking so that people can have a range of being able to see Aaron's facial expressions and the rage. So yeah, I think this is good for, like the talking bits.
Yeah, I'm into it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this one for when we're listening to the podcast, and then I'll move to the other one when we're chatting. All right, so everybody, please just brace yourselves for this.
Episode 4, and Tia, they are in for a treat today.
We're going to go unplugged quite a bit today.
Yeah, well, where we chose to go with this skin removal surgery, boob jobs, and tummy tucks, and what are the pros and cons, and what should also be considered. And we just want to be really honest with you as our audience that the key word here is unplugged. Yeah. And we want to talk about some subjects and some things that maybe aren't being discussed as much out there, or maybe from a unique and different perspective. And so we do just want to be upfront with you as we're starting to heat up in the podcast. Now that I think Tia, combined now, this is like episode 105 between when I started the podcast a couple years ago. But this would be one of those episodes that definitely took a turn. It took a few detours, which is just me being me and you being you.
Yeah.
And so if you do have kids or young kids in the car, I don't believe there's any foul language, but
the topics are terrible. So if you are around children or any public space and you are able to wear some headphones just to prevent anybody from hearing some of these unplugged topics that they're going to talk about, probably a good idea.
Yeah, as Melissa said, Doug, can you just plug back in? Like, no more unplugged fluffery for the love of our sanity, please. It's so bad. So
wonderful.
Bad.
So excited.
Jeez Louise.
Ugh.
You might want to put your earbuds in.
But you might want to put your earbuds in because, again, you might have kids in the car that you don't want to hear right now. And I'm just saying this is definitely more on the PG-13 rated R topic level because, a lot of times.
Did you want me to pause that, DC?
No, I'm just like R. Like the rating is R, sir. Or it's definitely explicit. It's not PG-13 because, but he said R, so I'll give you that, Doug. I'll give you that. There you go. Oh, jeez.
I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable.
Oh,
Oh God.
What goes on the outward appearance of our body. And we talk very openly about
Yeah.
the work that you have done, the work
Yeah.
that I've had done, but also how it really enhances or actually brings up things in the marriage, both sexually and also, topical that,
Yeah.
we chose to talk about.
Yeah. So we went deep. I think the biggest thing on this journey of being unplugged here is we're just keeping it real. We're keeping it honest. And Doug and I have journeyed through life and we want to share life with you guys. And so we just invite you, if you don't want your kids to hear this, put the earbuds in and enjoy this episode.
But also, if you're easily offended or, you don't maybe choose to talk about some of the things that we choose to talk about publicly, hey, that's okay. This episode might not be for you. So again, I would just say we do talk about some sexual, I don't know what. We just say it like it is, and we're not
Just
doctors.
keep it real.
So we don't use always the proper words. We use more street code, slang, and we just say it like it is.
I'm sorry. Did he say street slang
yeah. Or
or body parts?
code. And you know what the best thing you can do for your kids, in my opinion, I don't have kids, use anatomically correct language, because then it prevents potentially twisty things from like being able to isolate or a kid because they call it something else. And if your kid knows what it's called, then they can communicate better with you potentially about things that you might not know about. So that's just my a perspective from a kid who was able to use anatomically correct language, and that's my recommendation for you, even if it's uncomfy.
I agree with that as a parent, though. I think that that's important. Also, does anybody else think that it's Doug and Tia that are easily offended by things? For example, what happens if you decide to get out of Optavia? Oh, they're offended.
Yep.
They're offended. They can't make money off you anymore.
Yeah. They don't want people to be offended by them, but they get offended by everything.
I forgot to tell you guys. Yeah, I agree with that. That I just was sent a message this morning. Hold on, and I have to read this to you guys. Apparently, Optavia is making it so you have to hit executive director or above to attend their next event.
Ooh. Yikes.
Now, can we talk about that for a second?
Yes.
So here's what it says, and I would show you this, but I don't want to identify who sent it to me. You know who you are, and thank you. So Optavia Convention 2024, get into action to qualify. You have to qualify to attend their event that you're paying for. Yeah. Optavia Convention 2024 is an opportunity to connect, learn, grow, and celebrate achievements with your community. This year's convention is a qualifying event that will take place in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta peeps, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
God.
July 25th through the 28th, 2024. Start preparing now. The qualification period for this year's convention is December 1st, 2023 to May 30th, 2024. You can qualify by either 1, achieving the rank of executive director or above 3 out of the 6 months, and earning the client support bonus and at least one time during the qualification period, or earning the client support bonus and at least three times, and maintaining 2000 FQV for 3 of 6 months.
Yikes. That's going to be rough.
Where's Root into being? Oh, there she is. I know you're probably writing. I know you are. This is wild.
Sorry, side note about that stuff, but just when we were done reading that, I want to talk about the gym that Doug and Tia are trying to open up after you're done reading all of the.
I would love to talk about that.
Oh God. Oh my God. Yeah.
So why in the comments, guys, why do you think Optavia is trying to make people qualify? I mean, could we say, well, they're trying to encourage people to hit those ranks? Sure. I have a different theory, though. and this is obviously just my opinion. You guys can let me know what you think, and DC, let me know what you think. I think it's because they're trying to make it so the events aren't as big, and if they don't have to rent as big of a space, it's less costly. That's what I
Ooh,
think.
that's so smart. I would have never have thought about that. I was just thinking that they were trying to stop the kazoos. You know what?
Do it. Do
Uh,
it.
I just gotta this is for you, Kevin. Wait for the it has to play for a second. This is for Kevin Tinter. It's gonna come in a second. Sorry, Brandy Lee. Sorry, Brandy Lee. It's coming up. Here it is.
Speaking of being offended easily, Kevin.
Kevin. Please stop playing that kazoo. Whoever's playing that kazoo right now, you need to stop, sir. Chill out, because you will never die. And now that I know that it irritates the crap out of you, we're never gonna stop playing it.
I agree. I think it's hilarious.
Sorry,
Speaking
Brandy.
of being offended easily.
Oh my god.
Anyways, that's my theory. I think that they're trying to prevent having to get a big space and involving everybody, even though people are paying to go to the event. I think that they're going to use that. I think Rude Into Being said that. I just pinned her video or her comment where she said they're going to try and make it sound like more of an elite event. Well, if it were so elite, why would you need to have like leadership events and stuff? Why would you make this exclusive, which is what, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If you have other leadership events that are exclusive, I think it's a money thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they're definitely trying to push people to like rank up because are losing so many people. They think that the amount of people that someone's going to bring in to get to that rank is going to help fix their problem, when the issue is you're a multi-level marketing company that creates eating disorders if in most of the people who end up joining you. And that's an issue. That's not just like oh, we're multi-level marketers, we're just trolls reporting from under the bridge, we're just haters. No, like that's a medical issue. Like looking at the impact of your work across the years you've been open and seeing that most people end up with an eating disorder when they're associated with Optavia, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Gosh.
Also, for anybody that's in MLM, that's in Optavia, close to Doug and Tia, that are like, oh, they're just haters.
We do not care.
We do not care. We do not care. We don't.
I certainly don't care after listening to all the stuff that Doug Wood said in this podcast and all the sound bites that I have now because of what he said. Wild. Don't look at me. Look at your leader, Doug
Very
Wood.
excited about that. Love that. All right, let's get back. Oh, wait, you wanted to talk about the gym that they're opening.
Yes. So Rude Into Being, so they're building this gym and they have a reel on his page where he has one of his expensive cars. And they're like, oh my gosh, instead of a gym, let's do a go-kart track in here. And he's driving his really expensive car inside, making little figure eights and stuff. And it doesn't even look like he can handle his car correctly, but that's just me being an asshole. He has his car wrapped with his gym name and everything. And it's just cringe times a million. Rude Into Being is saying that they're building the gym on land that they should not be building a gym on. And I'm trying to go back to, you pinned the comment, right? Hold
I
on.
think so.
Rude Into Being.
I'll look too.
Okay. There's a lot of comments coming in, which is awesome.
It is awesome.
Let's see. I think it's up. Or if Rude Into Being, can you just paste it again at the bottom if you don't mind? Tribal Land. Okay. They're building the gym on
What?
tribal land. Yeah. Yeah, it's on Salt River, Pima, Maricopa tribal land. They need to get tribal permission to build there.
Oh my God. And do we know if they have permission?
I don't
How would we
know.
find that out?
Rootin' a Bing.
Oh,
Mid-sized blondie. Anybody? Oh God.
oh, I don't like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
might be a good time to email the tribal leadership. That's a very good idea. And yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh my God. Hello, Poltergeist, the gym version. All right, back to the podcast because this is like an hour-long podcast. And also, I have Thanksgiving bowls to make after this. It's one of my favorite recipes from Krista Poole, aka the Stay Fit Mom. Not sponsored. I just like her recipes. Okay.
Cool.
It's gonna be very good.
Yeah. Hannah P's gonna email the tribal leadership. So thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Let us
you.
know if you hear anything back, Hannah, if you feel comfortable doing that. That'd be amazing.
And so anyway, you take it or leave it. But as the Doug and Tia Unplugged podcast is starting to heat up here, we're at episode 4. I can tell we're kind of getting spicy, Tia. And so we thought it would be fair to come back and make sure that we give all of you, our friends and listeners that you subscribe to, you chose to listen to, but we want to be honest with you on what this subject in this episode was going to be about.
God.
Yep. We love you. Keeping it real around
All
here.
right, enjoy the episode.
Anytime it has been hard for me is because I'm not committed.
Some of you are fearing finances, and you let this be your name.
Because I know what it's like to struggle, I know what it's like to win, and I continue sharing my ups and my downs with everybody.
We got on our knees and prayed. That is our weapon in the days we are living at.
The way I like to live is when God says go, you don't have to check your bank account.
God loves you so much. He has a plan and a destiny for your lives.
Personal responsibility, passion, Jesus, entrepreneurship, and guess what? Intentionality.
When you believe in you, everyone wins.
I'm taking a stand for my God, for my Jesus, for my family, for my kids' future.
Welcome back to the Doug and Tia Unplugged podcast.
I mean, that's how it's just gonna start. You're just gonna hard cut. Just
Yeah.
okay.
Their editing's
Just
wild. Yeah. Wild.
and start. Okay, that's how we're doing this. All right.
Episode 4, talking all things skin surgery, breast enhancements, tummy tucks,
Going there today.
and all the things that, you know what, you may or may not want to do this side of eternity. One thing, Tia, you and I are very honest about is our journey of our ups and downs through all of our years. So, Tia, where should we start? What a juicy topic.
Yeah, we're going there today.
Do we ever?
It's still here this way.
I know. I thought I
Oh, this is perfect. Let's do
Yeah.
that. Oh,
okay.
let me.
Then everybody.
Yeah. Why don't I make? Do you have the ability to put overlays on? Because I can just make a little overlay for you if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Let
can
me
do
just
overlays.
you can press play. I'll make one in Canva and
Okay.
send it to you.
All
Okay.
right.
Cool.
Or not go there? I know we say, I think you say that on every episode. Oh, we're going there today. Yeah, I think we live a
Oh, I paused it because I was gonna say, how funny is it that Doug is like, we're just gonna be honest. Okay, Doug, are you really gonna be honest? We'll see. Because we know some things.
Yeah, we do.
We know a lot of things, actually.
life of going there.
Unplugged, right? Isn't this Doug and Tia Unplugged? So this is what we do. We share our life because we believe, if we can break through, other people can break through. And so
Guys, we have a new member on my channel.
Let's go.
You know what time it is. It's time. Welcome, Lee B. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Let's go.
Y'all are amazing and welcome.
did everything we could in our power to get, physically fit, healthy, lost the weight. But when we kind of looked at ourselves, it's like, we realized, why not? Why can't we invest in ourselves?
Yeah, well, let's go back to the beginning because,
Yeah.
no matter where you stand on surgery, enhancements, things like that, we wanted to bring some knowledge, some personal experience into some things we've done, but also some firsthand experiences into the hundreds of clients that we've coached,
Yeah.
that many have needed to do some work and chose to do some work, and then others that didn't want to do the work or I should say, didn't want to do extra work and actually went for an easy way out, or maybe even cut corners, or maybe wanted to avoid work that, whether they could have done it or couldn't.
What is he talking about? Cutting corners? Remember how not that long ago they were against Ozempic or any kind of medical weight loss thing?
Yep.
And now all of a sudden they're like, no, we need to embrace it. We need
Yeah.
to, we can help people with eating our soy containing, which take that with a grain of salt or whatever, and are super low calorie. And we're going to coach them to be on the 5-in-1 and amplify their weight loss. I think it's so dangerous. I think it's disgusting. And the underlying intention behind it is to line their own pockets. It's not
Yep.
really about to help people. No.
Yep. It was convenient for them because they saw value for themselves. And so then all of the rules changed because they were like, oh my God, well, we want to do it. So then we are not going to be judgy as hell towards other people, except they still are, because if someone didn't do it exactly like they did it, then their cosmetic surgery is invalid because they took the quote unquote easy way out.
Mm-hmm. Rude into being says, funny how your ethics shift when your parent companies do. I mean, also this is terrifying to me. Almost as terrifying. Well, I think this is more terrifying than the thought of Kelsey Ray homeschooling her children, telling them that corn is man-made and not grown in the ground.
Oh God.
I'm serious. She said that. Check my Instagram if you haven't already seen it.
God.
But this is terrifying to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh.
Have. And we just want to be open and honest because there's a lot of people that we've seen.
Yeah.
That really we've challenged to keep going and keep digging in. And they chose to get the easy way out and go have surgery, whether that be gastric bypass or some people have actually had skin removal.
Did he say the easy way out?
Yep.
Did he really say gastric bypass is the easy way out? This same person that just had a nose job, this same person that has had, I can't remember the name of the surgery, but basically breast tissue removed. Wouldn't that be considered the easy way out, Doug? If we're going to call a spade, I don't think gastric bypass is the easy way out or any weight loss surgery. I think that is a decision that you make with your doctor that has your full family history, health history, all of it. It's a personal decision. And to judge somebody else for something that they, chose to do from the advice of their doctor or their medical team, I think is disgusting.
Yeah. He also had I think total facelift as well. He had a neck. He talks about it on this podcast. He had a neck.
Muted.
Oh no. I'm muted? Oh no. Let me go out and come back in.
My AirPods are doing something crazy.
Okay.
No, you're good.
He had his eyes done. He had
a facelift?
He had a face deal. He had his neck done. He talks about it. So he'll tell you all the stuff he had done, including when he was under for the nose situation. So, yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Okay. That was just my AirPods doing something crazy, connecting, disconnecting. So my bad.
It must be
Surgery too soon and actually
sorry. What'd you say?
bad energy from Doug Wood, coming in to disrupt stuff. So
totally. The bad juju. Yeah.
Some extra liposuction because they didn't actually want to stay in there and do the work.
Yeah.
And we have seen it, and we've seen all the things. And I think for me, I was born at 10.5 pounds, bless my mom.
Bless her
I was
heart.
born a big boy, but the first time I remember being made fun of for, I've always called it man boobs. And I think the world kind of does too, was in I was in the 7th grade, and I was always a pretty confident kid, but I always was big chested and I had a lot of skin. Of course, I was a bigger guy too, a bigger boy at the time. But I remember we didn't have locks on our lockers. And I remember it was like April Fool's Day or it was Valentine's Day or something. And I opened up my locker and there was a training bra hanging there. And there was a picture or a sign that said, "You need this."
Wow.
I'll never forget that, man. That was so embarrassing. I had been in the gym a little bit, being a football player, of course.
So he has allegedly this empathy for situations that he's gone through as a kid. Yet, as an adult, he mocks the medical care team that was taking care of one of his parents and making fun of how big they were on social media. So, how do you resolve that story between that core memory when you're in 7th grade to you being a bully when you're an adult? I don't understand that. Like, how do you get so separated from your story that you're just like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go make fun of people now, even though I got made fun of and it was devastating for me when I was a kid."
I mean, the kid that's being bullied becomes the bully.
Not all the time, but yeah, you're right. I
No,
mean,
but like in this, not all the time, but like in this scenario, he was
yeah,
bullied and he became the bully,
yeah,
in my opinion.
yep, yep.
I was a lineman, but growing up, it was always something that I was so self-conscious of.
Yeah.
And even when I met you, I remember like I didn't want you to see me with my shirt off because I felt that was an area that
Insecurity.
I was such insecurity, man. It was like everywhere else was like I was just kind of big and like stretched out.
Mhm.
But that was one area that was like I just had tiggo bitties, man. They were just hanging.
I didn't think that, but
Well, you saw the best of me,
I just,
and
yeah.
you looked for the best of me, I
Right.
guess I should say, and you looked past that because that wasn't important to you
Right.
at the time. But that really, 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 really bothered me.
Yeah, it did. For a lot of years. So, then we went on our journey together. We went on to lose 110 pounds, I think, combined
Yeah.
back in 2009.
You lost 45. I lost a little over 70. And what was crazy was I was at the lowest weight since
And you
junior
still
high.
had,
And the only thing left over was skin on my chest. And also like, it was still like this fatty tissue. And it was
Yeah.
just like my whole body had lost weight. And it was like someone
it
had
was just
popped the
holding on
balloon.
right there.
And it was like, I felt like then I had bigger boobs because it didn't actually match my body size. There was more. And it was just one of those things that, and I remember I went in to see a skin specialist. And I said, will this catch up? Because we've seen a lot of people, and I want to stop and talk about this, that I was on a client celebration call yesterday with this gentleman. He's down 40 pounds since the beginning of December. So that would be just over 8 weeks,
It's crazy.
maybe 9
results.
weeks. And he's like, man, when I walk, my legs, there's a little bit of jiggle in my thighs. And he's a bigger guy. Obviously, he's got probably
In my lies.
Yep.
Love that.
I
There's a
know.
little bit of jiggle in my lies.
Yes, there is, Doug. And I know they kind of go back and forth. The person who's doing the interrupting is Doug Wood because he can't let Tia get in a word edgewise, in my opinion, because she waits for him to finish speaking. Then she tries to offer a thought and Doug shuts her down and she's too. And I know she's not, we have issues with Tia. She's respectful of him and that she doesn't say, hey, well, she doesn't keep talking. She lets him continue to talk. When I would encourage her, I'm not a therapist, but say, hey, Doug, I wasn't finished with my thought. Or when he's done, say, I'd like to circle back around so I could finish my thought from earlier. And then you can edit that stuff out. God forbid, edit a podcast. That's shocking. That's a concept. Gosh.
150 more pounds to lose, but you can tell he carries a lot of his weight in his thighs. And he was just like, man, when's this going to stop? And I'm like, I'm not going to say his name here, but I'm like, just relax.
Yep.
I said, your body is so forgiving.
Yep.
The elasticity.
Elasticity.
Definitely not. We'll probably get to lactation. You might talk about lactation here in a minute.
Oh my God.
But the lacticity will catch up.
Elasticity.
I can't say that word.
It's okay.
I barely graduated
Go for
high
it.
school.
Didn't hold you up though.
No, but I'm like, don't worry. You need to
Yeah.
drink lots of water. Your
Yeah.
skin will catch up.
It will.
I said, how many years did it take you to reach 370 pounds? And he's like, man, I went from 205 to 370 over the last 20 years. I said, and you lost 40 in 9 weeks. I said, you didn't slowly
God.
start.
I know sometimes if you're losing body mass, you can have a faster weight loss, that's safer. Normally, from what I understand, it's like 1 to 2 pounds a week, maybe less. Work with a registered dietitian or a certified personal trainer, whatever floats your boat. And if you maybe have a larger mass, maybe you're up to 4 pounds a week, and maybe that's still safe for you. 48 pounds in 9 weeks still seems like fast, especially if you're in Optavia, because the protein ratios there, I don't think that's really encouraging you to hold on to your muscle in my opinion, because guess what? If you're not getting enough protein, where's it going to take it from? Your organs, your other muscles, so that could get twisty real fast. And that's just maybe, and again, Aaron's more experienced than this than I am.
I'm getting there. Not yet. Not
Yes.
yet, but I am getting there. 40 pounds of weight loss in 9 weeks is, in my opinion, it can be dangerous. That's almost 4.5 pounds a week. And the sustainable amount of weight loss, just like you said, DC, is 1 to 2 pounds a week. But, when you're trying to lose weight, or you're trying to what is the word I'm looking for? When you're in body recomp, meaning you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to lose fat, that's not always going to reflect on the scale. It's more important to look at how your clothes are fitting, how you're feeling. Those are things that are very, very important. How you're sleeping is a really big deal. The stress that you have in your life, different things like that. So 4.5 pounds of weight loss, although I'm sure that there are cases or situations when that amount of weight loss would be okay for that individual. But I think that's few and far in between. And I also worry about how sustainable that is. If you're losing 40 pounds in 9 weeks, what's going to happen when you start introducing calories? Because they're really more calories, I should say. The reason that I'm saying that is because we know Optavia, they're 5 and 1. You take in 800 to 1,000 calories, which is an extreme calorie deficit. Extreme. Speaking from somebody who is in a calorie deficit right now and understanding the slow progression of body recomp, essentially, and how important that is. So, yeah, thanks. Hate it.
Lisa in the chat said, Aaron, you may have missed my comment earlier, but I've had 2 of my first 4 patients in my new telehealth registered dietitian role who tried Optavia to lose weight, and I'm so glad they came to the experts now.
Oh God, that's incredible. I did miss that, and I apologize, but that's an incredible comment, and I'm so glad that they got away from Optavia specifically. I know DC and I, Optavia holds a special place in our snarky little hearts, if you will. But I think that this is one of the most problematic companies because they are teaching people to not trust themselves. They are teaching people to buy overly processed, extremely low calorie foods that are not going to fuel their body the way that they need to. And I'm not even talking about anybody that is working out. I'm talking about just having the caloric intake that you need for your body to operate properly, for you to be able to sleep, and just function, I think that this company is one of the worst for sure, but that's just my opinion.
And mine too. It's a dual opinion.
We love that.
Stretch that balloon out.
Yeah.
I said, and the good news is it's coming off quicker.
Yeah.
But I said, you want to make sure that we're going to transition well. We want to, really work through our mindsets and living and transitioning to living a lifestyle of the habits of health and all these different things that we've coached. I mean, literally thousands, I guess now of clients too. And I'm like, it's going to catch up.
Do you guys hear that that car horn honking? Can y'all hear it?
Mm-mm.
It just stopped. I was like, wait, do I need to mute myself?
No, you're good. Your mic's doing a good job.
Okay, good.
But I realized after I'd lost this weight, it had been about a year.
Mhm.
I maintained about 200 pounds, or actually about below 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I remember a good year and a half, because now this would have been mid 2011.
Yeah.
And this was still there.
Yeah.
And I went and saw a cosmetic surgeon, and he looked at me and I'm like, I don't want to have surgery. And he's like, keep working out,
This is-
but this is not going away. This is, some of the ways you were born,
Yeah.
every body just has either its strength or its weakness. And he
Yeah.
has, basically this is some fatty, like almost like
Tissue.
kid tissue
Yeah.
that,
Estrogen.
especially since you were, you've had since you can remember at 12, but I know it was younger than that because I look back and see photos. And I went ahead and got a price, and I went ahead and chose to move forward with a full, I think it's mastectomy. Is that the name of it? We're one thing we're not good at is the names of all these surgeries. We just call them slang. And my gosh, that was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, my confidence went
Went
through
up.
the roof. My biggest regret was that I didn't start working out right away. I used that as a little bit of like a hall pass, because anytime that
Well, the reason that you weren't working out right away, Doug, is because you were on the 5-in-1 and they tell you not to work out, which, listen, this is just my personal opinion. If you are somebody that you're wanting to lose weight, you're wanting to get in better shape, whatever that means for you, and this again, my personal opinion, I would much rather see you lift some weights a couple times a week than go full bore into it. Like, just dip your toes into the water and then progress that way. I don't know why I'm telling you guys that, but it makes me so mad that Doug and Tia and Optavia say, oh no, don't work out, just drastically reduce your calories. Well, if you ate for the calories that your body needs, and then you started adding lifting weights, and then as you progressed, you went, okay, I'm ready to move a little bit more in whatever way you're able to. Maybe that looks like, what do they call those? The hand bike things. Maybe
Yeah.
that looks like walking, getting more steps in your day, and progressing slowly over time. Just in my opinion, if you were to compare two people, one, somebody that was on Optavia that lost a lot of weight quickly, and two, somebody that slowly started to move their body, started to lift weights, started to add some sort of cardio or steps in their day, and compare the two people, I think it would be night and day. That's just my personal opinion.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
even still, like, I know I've got a lot of chronic pain buddies in my my live chat, and working with your physical therapist or working with your doctor to, like, what is something you could do potentially that could increase your mobility. Maybe just taking a break to stand up every couple of hours. Maybe, like Aaron was saying, get a little recumbent, like, little pedal thing for when you're sitting on the couch, or it could be small changes to increase mobility, and it's not necessarily about weight loss, because it could be wanting to be able to walk down to the mailbox and get the mail. If you're going from being completely immobile or newly immobile to what are my goals for movement? I want to be able to take my dog on a walk. I personally want to be able to take my dog walking again because my parents walk him, because I lost a lot of mobility last year. So it's like, it's small things, but also in the context of, don't push it over to have a flare. Like, it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody, and Doug and Tia are going to say it's about weight loss, it's about aesthetics, it's about having the body, it's about, low body fat percentage, it's about blah blah blah, and it's health is more complex than that. And also, the stuff that they're saying isn't really good, like, general advice for people. And this isn't Aaron and I saying that cosmetic surgery is bad. That's not what we're saying at all. The way that they view it and the way that you're going to hear Doug talk about it is really twisty. About how he views Tia's body is, to me, really, really harmful. So
I don't like it. Not one bit. Oh,
Nope.
thanks, Liv. I appreciate that. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm actually going through, just side note, because I was studying before this live stream. I'm actually going through, like, muscle testing, flexibility, things like that. So yeah, I'm very excited about it. Coming soon, everybody. Coming soon.
Tia,
did cardio. We just didn't do weightlifting.
well, I did do cardio, but in truth be told, I did the work. And that's what I believe. Like, if you're on this side of eternity, like, we get one body. If you want to change it,
Oh, okay. So Doug did the work. So it's okay for him to have cosmetic surgery. But if you got gastric bypass or some sort of weight loss surgery, you took the easy way out. That's essentially what he's saying. He is such a walking hypocrite. I cannot even.
Mm,
I cannot.
yeah.
if you want to pierce it, if you want to put it on a tattoo, if you want to, whatever, I don't know,
Lisa.
who knows, dye your hair purple, like, do it. Like, it's okay.
The amount of videos I had to watch to have somewhat of a grasp on the different planes. Same.
If it's a season you're going through or it's something you want to do, but I feel like you need to do the work before. And I lost that 70 pounds and I maintained it.
Yeah, but Doug, you didn't do the work because you just said you weren't lifting weights, you were just doing cardio. You weren't doing the work. You were taking in a very low amount of calories. Come on.
Yeah.
But one thing I did when I had the surgery, because before I had the surgery, anytime that I would have, maybe I'd get off my game, we'd go on vacation or whatever a little bit, and I didn't fully transition and I had more salt in my diet and stuff. I felt like that was the first place my swelling would go to, and my man boob skin would even get bigger for that week.
Yeah.
But it was because that was a balloon that had been stretched out for so long.
Right.
Of course, it's going to be the easiest place that it immediately snaps back to and, fills up.
Yeah.
And so which is why I'm such a believer in people having skin surgery. If it's important to you, after you have done the work, after you have maintained the work for, I would say, at least a year. Again, that's my thoughts. You do you. This is a judge-free zone. One thing about Doug and Tia podcast.
I'm a little
Doug.
You chicken nugget. Like, what the hell are you saying, dude? Like, have you ever heard of maybe somebody like having chronic pain, or like maybe somebody is working with a doctor and saying, you know what, you literally can't move right now. Maybe liposuction and skin removal surgery or whatever for your legs is going to put you in a healthier spot, because then you'd be able to move. Like, I'm just throwing out examples here of that would debunk his idea that only his way makes cosmetic surgery okay. Work with your doctor. Your doctor's the one that's going to be able to make the best plan with you if you have a doctor that advocates for you. He's being so judgy, and for him to say, like, just kidding, I'm not being judgy at all. Like, he's the judgiest one here.
Imagine this, this is what I was going to say earlier when we were talking about weight loss and stuff. Imagine being your ideal body size. Let's just say it that way. And because you have such a terrible relationship with moving your body in whatever way you are able to, or you have a terrible relationship with food, that you're miserable. I'm sorry. No, thank you. I would much rather be healthy, be sleeping well, have the energy to get through my day, push some weights around, do cardio, and be in a good mood, feeling, satiated and happy with the progress that my body is making, which, by the way, I uploaded some new progress pics today on Instagram if you want to check those out. And I would much rather be in that place than be to what I think my ideal body should look like, or what society thinks that my body should look like, and be completely miserable in my own skin. No, thank you.
Yeah. And
No, thank you.
Anna said something interesting. Does he realize that bariatric patients have to do a ton of work to even qualify for the surgery? They have to lose a significant amount of weight on their own first. Yes. Great point. He doesn't realize it. I bet you he does not even care about that, because it's not his way of earning whatever cosmetic surgery that he thinks someone would be earning. He doesn't. If it's not his way, it's literally the highway, and that you did it the quote unquote wrong way.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a little sooner the better, because I don't like that. I've definitely coached people over the years that have lost you know, a significant amount of weight, and they need
The longer someone delays.
yeah, then they started gaining their weight back
little bit.
because there's disease in that skin. Like,
First of all, I have a problem with assigning possession of somebody's weight. If you are saying they gained their weight back, stop. Stop it right now. Because that tells me everything that I need to know. Weight doesn't belong to somebody. That's so weird. That's like assigning moral value to food. You don't have to earn carbs. You don't have to earn any of that stuff. If you want to have something, have something. I really, that really gets under my skin because of I don't even know. It just, that really gets under my skin.
Yeah. I think it's bad psychology too, or like bad understanding of like how you view food and how you view your body, and like also playing into things that we hear. If Aaron and I are both in the United States, I know views of your body differ around the world, differ in cultures. I understand that. Here though, where Doug and Tia are from as well, there's a certain view of bodies and how they should look and everything like that. But I also don't understand why he said, there's disease in your skin. Well, I think he's talking like they're kind of big on generational curses and stuff like that. So I don't know what they mean by that. Oh God.
I don't like it. This is for you, DC.
No way. Oh my God. Thank you so much. So Ashley said, thanks for covering this. I started going to Weight Watcher meetings with my mom at 6 years old. People like Doug and Tia are so harmful. Oh my God. Thank you for the super chat. And yeah, it's a hard topic to cover. I feel better covering it with someone like Aaron. I think it's also, what do you do when we run into this in the wild, on the internet, in a Zoom call? Someone comes up to you and they're like, hey, I think you would do great if you just came to an Optavia meeting with me, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, let's unpack this together so that we can give y'all some tools to be able to say like, hey, no thanks, I'm actually working with a medical professional. I'm actually working with a registered dietitian, or, you know, what Optavia stands for doesn't align with how I view myself or how I view food. No, thank you. You know?
Agreed completely. My daughter finger waved her boyfriend. Finger what? Finger coiled. What did I say? Finger wave. No, finger coiled, excuse me, his curly hair. It looks great. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good. Let me see the back again. Sorry, just 1 second.
Cute.
Yeah. Are you happy with it now? He got a haircut today too. It was a process.
Oh,
Okay, good. He's happy. Oh,
awesome.
Dylan.
Sweet.
All right. Back to what we were talking about. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Looks great.
Oh.
All right, let's continue.
this isn't biblical, but it's like in the Bible, it talks about cutting off everything that so easily entangles you. And for many people,
I mean, wouldn't Optavia qualify as entangling people?
Yep.
Goodbye.
She's going to make the religious, like, logical fallacy that the Bible said cut off anything that entangles you, so we're going to cut off the excess skin so the fat can't come back. What? I know that's where she's going. I
hate it.
God, this is so wild.
Hate it. Also, I love this comment. These lives helped me prepare when my coworkers started pushing Herbalife. I understand the unhealthy calorie deficit. Listen, that makes me so happy. Also, I definitely want to rage on Herbalife. Yeah.
Oh,
your 90 calorie protein shake. Stop it. Lisa and I will riot up in here. Okay. Lisa, I know you're in the comments. We will riot. Just eat a meal, have a snack instead. It's going to be more nutritious than an Herbalife shake. Don't do it.
If physical weight and that trauma is in that skin. And so that's been disappointing and frustrating on the other side as a coach to see a friend that was thinking.
You should not be coaching anybody, Tia, ever. And that goes for you, Doug. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves with what you are doing to people and encouraging them to keep that auto ship going every single month as, you know, taking care of your upline Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. And you're sitting on here talking about how you don't lie. Why didn't you tell people last year when you were taking those peptides, Tia and Doug? Why weren't you telling everybody all of the stuff that you were doing on top of probably allegedly, eating the Optavia food? Why weren't you being completely honest when you were working out with your bodybuilder trainer? Oh, that's right. Because they wouldn't join Optavia. They would lean towards these other things. And then your own company was villainizing weight loss medication, but now they're embracing it. Y'all look like hypocrites. It's actually quite embarrassing. Then you're going to open a gym. Are you going to have Optavia food in the gym? Like, here, buy this little, snack pack.
Yep.
Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
It's going to be the twistiest funnel of all time because I bet they're only going to hire trainers who are Optavia reps, and they're going to have Optavia food available. They're going to have Optavia shakes. I don't even know. Whatever all the bad Optavia, package crap is, like, it's going to be a funnel of all funnels. And the fact that it's just so twisty, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Thanks. We hate it.
About doing it and then decided not to because then they started gaining their weight back
what
and then they
happens
never
is,
did it.
In and around when you lose a significant amount of weight.
I don't want to, jump the gun or anything, but I talked to Susan about this. I was like, you've got to come to Vegas. She said, I was looking at flights the other day. It's not that expensive. And I was like, what?
I love that.
Could it happen soon? I don't know. You would?
Record everything. Like, we need a
Oh my
date
God.
with Susan and Aaron. Like, that would be so good.
That would be so fun. She would kick my butt in the gym. I know it. She'd be like, is this how you've been working out? And I'd be like, yes, I thought I was doing well. No, she's not like that. She would kick my butt though. We love her. Also, in case you guys don't know, if you're new to my channel, you're new to DC's channel, Susan is my trainer. I work with a professional trainer, and she is a bodybuilder, and she is competing this Sunday. I might do a special something with members through the Discord. So if you're a member, make sure that you join the Discord. There should be a link under the community tab because they are going to be live streaming her event, and she's going for her pro card on Sunday. So I think it'd be pretty cool if we did like a little members only something or other. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, Susan, in case you happen to see this, because I know this is a very busy week for you, just know that we're cheering you on.
There's a comment from Ollie Oxenfree that said, also building on tribal land to hawk religion and weight loss to exploit a minority that has been hurt by centuries of white-centered healthcare. That I think that encompasses like such a huge aspect of more problems with what the hell's going on with Doug and Tia's situation. So thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Whether it be 40 pounds or 140 pounds or anywhere in between, we all have that original goal, but we usually have that goal, that a number that's on the scale that is so important to us that we're always measuring, like, when we get there, we'll do X, Y, and Z. A lot of you, it might be a size, it might be a scale number, or a number that you were in high school or college, and you're measuring.
I'm sorry. We are not 18 years old anymore. We are not in high school anymore.
What about blood pressure? What about like your ability to do activities that you want to do? What about your your cholesterol? What about how well you're sleeping? What about how you manage stress? What about like I don't even know, all the other things that are far and above just what you weigh on a scale. Like, come on, dude.
That's not the picture of health. That's not the only piece of data that you should look at for if you are feeling healthy or not. Let's see the lab work, all of that stuff. It's crazy. And to think that these people are talking about this, and it's like, we know that they have these little sayings about, the size of your waist and your business, which we know Optavia is not a business, but this is what they say, the size of your waist is going to determine how successful you are in Optavia. Or a body and fat burn, which is basically on the 5 and 1 with Optavia, taking in 800 to 1,000 calories, is a business on fire. They have these weird little cult sayings, and I do think that they're cult sayings, because they are trying to control what their group is doing through these sayings. Oh, well, your business isn't doing well. When was the last time you got your body and fat burn? When was the last time you were on the 5 and 1? When was the last time that you did that? Oh, you've tried it 6 times, even though you're supposed to only be on it for 12 weeks. Oh, well, maybe it's time to get back into fat burn. Maybe it's time to do that. How many people have ever heard of anybody, if you have experience with Optavia, how many of you have ever heard of anybody getting into maintenance in Optavia? Because I have never heard, as many people as I have talked to that have been a part of Optavia, people cycle on and off the 5 and 1.
Yeah. Yep. But how are you supposed to continue recruiting people if you don't consistently have a before and after story to get people sucked in? So you can never be on maintenance, because then that would halt your ability to show, oh, look at what I did weigh and look what I weigh now. And you can do that too. They would never have that story. So,
Yep.
so twisty.
Whether you are healthy on
It
that
is.
weight that you saw on the scale one time,
Yep.
when you look good, well, guess what? Your age has changed, your body has changed, and I'm more into body comp now.
Yeah.
I weighed in at 210 pounds this morning, and I'm the healthiest 210 than ever when I was 191 pounds after I lost my weight,
Absolutely.
because I'm up 20 pounds of muscle.
Yep.
And my body comp as a whole,
Yeah.
I am not skinny fat. I am actually healthy fit,
Yeah.
whether I gain or lose a couple pounds here and there.
And what are the parameters of being healthy fit, Doug? Is it how you're performing in the gym? Is it how many calories you're taking in and how you're feeling around taking in those calories? Is it how you're sleeping? Is it progression in the gym? Is it your sleep? What are the parameters? Because you're saying, oh, some people have this ideal weight or body size in mind, which are the two main things that people in Optavia are coached to care about. But the sleep, the mood, feeling satiated, all of those things, how you perform in the gym, if you go to the gym, or how you're able to get through your day physically, all of those things are super important. And people that, in my opinion, have like an unhealthy obsession with the scale, that's the only thing that they focus on. Or like, I want to get back down to a size, blah, 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 because that's what I was in high school. You're not in high school anymore.
Yeah.
It really irritates me.
Yeah.
Or not. But Tia, the crazy thing is that you have seen people, and I have seen people, they're like, man, if I can just lose 5 or 10 more pounds, then I'm
Never.
going to go in
Then.
and get the skin removed. And they never actually
Yeah.
quite get there. So either one or two things, and I'm a fan of this, they have the skin removal then, yes, do it.
Yeah.
But I have seen more of our clients talk about it. They had the money to do it.
Yeah. It is an
They
investment.
even go and meet with the surgeon. They get the quote. They're like, man, this would be great. They're like, okay, I'm going to schedule it when I do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And they don't. They slowly, the balloon, remember, the balloon has been, expanded.
Especially if they haven't started working out.
haven't
and
started
getting their
working out.
hormone balance, all the things that are connected to it.
They're so caught up in nutrition only.
Yeah.
And then they start.
Because that's what you guys teach them. You
Yeah.
teach them to take in an extremely small amount of calories, and then you're shocked when people drop huge weight and then they have excess skin removal or needing to have excess skin removal, and you tell people not to work out. Do we not see the hypocrisy in what they are saying? And let's not forget, at the beginning of this, they were like, well, having surgery is the easy way out. This is unbelievable to me.
Yeah. It's so wild. They're so set in their beliefs, and yet what they believe is so harmful that they're sharing it with a platform of influence. And then they have an entire team that's being subjected to this type of thinking about health and bodies, and I can't imagine all the people that are being negatively impacted by this twistiness.
I just think it's really dangerous. And,
Yeah.
like we talk about all the time, you have to really look at the underlying intention. You
Mhm.
know, they're not talking about this stuff because, they are good humans, in my opinion, that are trying to help people learn how to have a better relationship with food or anything like that. They're talking about this because they're trying to shock people into joining Optavia as a customer or a coach
Sure. Yeah.
because it lines their own pockets,
And they have an even better but after picture now. They haven't even, like Doug just had his neck done and I say this because of the way they're using their bodies to recruit people into Optavia, then claiming during these recruitment meetings that Optavia did everything for them. If they said, "Look, the reason I look the way I do now is because of working out, eating a really unsafe calorie deficit, and paying over $100,000+ for a nose job, neck, facelift, and my chest being done, and my skin being done on my legs and my abdomen." Fine. He doesn't say that. He mentions it here in this podcast, but he doesn't say it enough that it offers a balanced perspective and delivering of information to the people who are thinking about signing up. That's my issue. So if I'm going to be specific
Agreed.
about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Gaining
Also, thanks for the overlay. It looks really cool.
5 or 10 pounds, and now they're 20 pounds away. Now they're 30 pounds away, and now the frustration starting
Yeah.
to sink in.
Now the shame comes in.
Shame's coming back.
Yep.
Because your body can grab onto anything that you eat in that area that was stretched out. Because we abused our body.
Yeah. There's
I
trauma there.
abused my body for 20 years.
Yeah.
So we got to cut it off.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I mean, this is controversial, but we know that this is a topic that is for some are going to be like, they're going there. And
Our whole
we're
life is
going,
controversial.
we're going there because we have found so much freedom on the other side of taking these necessary steps in our physical health. Like for me, around that same time, this is about 2010, I had lost all my baby weight,
Yep.
I lost 40 pounds. I did have a little bit of skin on my stomach, but I thought, okay, over time that will get better. But my boobs, like after nursing 2 babies for a year and a half
have
each,
big boobs.
I didn't have,
before.
I didn't. I just was blessed with like little B cups, nothing.
Right. But I remember, I mean, like, I always loved you just the way you were, just like me.
Yeah.
But I ain't going to lie. Like, I dreamed of you having big fake boobs.
Yes, you did.
I did. And you
are. Oh, they were fine, but I can't tell you. I dreamed of you having big fake boobs. Well, then you didn't like her for how she was. Fine. Make an informed decision together if you want to change your body. Okay. The issue I have is the way that he describes his wife. It comes across as a very like she's not a person type of way. I don't know the right word for it, but like it just
Like she's an object.
like she's an object. Like
Yeah.
what? What the hell?
Also, I think that these types of conversations should be had in private. That's something that you have a conversation with that's not on a podcast where you're trying to make it. I don't even know. These are conversations that should be had in private, I feel like, between partners. But the
Yeah.
fact that, I always dreamed of this. Gross. Doug, like we don't need to know any of that. And the fact that they're hiding behind this Unplugged podcast is like, what are y'all trying to do? This is embarrassing. It's gross.
Yeah, and I mean, there's one thing to have an open conversation and inform the audience about what the conversation's going to be before you start, and then is there actual education going in for a conversation? But this is like off the cuff. There was no warning. It's just Doug basically saying his wife has the body that he wants her to have, and he has the body that he wanted to have, and blah blah blah. And it I don't know. Just
It makes me wonder what they're like privately. And I don't mean them just as, partners behind the scenes. I mean like when they're by themselves and it's quiet and whatever demons they are facing, and all of those racing thoughts are going through their head. It just makes me wonder what those racing thoughts are. Because like I said a few minutes ago, somebody that is in a multi-level marketing company like Optavia, somebody like Doug and Tia Wood, sure, they might be at their ideal body size or whatever terms they want to use for that. But at the end of the day, what's it like when it's quiet, when it's still? Are you able to kind of sit with yourself and just love who you are as you are? Or are you constantly thinking of, I need to change this, I need to change that, I need to do this, I need to do that? Because my personal opinion, I think that there's not a lot of quiet time. I think there's not a lot of stillness. And I think that that's by design. But that's just my opinion,
Yep.
You and I were open enough to talk about it. And I also liked your mentality about it, because I know now we're going to talk about your surgery, which is obvious, that you're like, well, and again, I'm just going to go here.
Yeah.
And this may make some of the listeners feel uncomfortable, but it's going to help many
Then don't
others.
say it.
You're like, if my husband's going to look up pornography, I would rather give him something to look at.
Yeah.
And do the work. And I know that was a lot of, now there's a lot more.
I'm sorry, what? Do the work so that your partner doesn't look at pornography?
Oh God.
Doug, do you hear yourself?
I mean, apparently not. He's not the one editing this, because God, Doug, what are you doing, sir?
Oh my God.
Like, here's one of the thing I'm thinking, and so I would love to be redirected if this is not like a good like train of thought. If you don't like the way your partner looks, then why are you together, like, with them from the beginning? Like, you should be partners with, or multiple people, whatever informed relationship you have. Shouldn't you be with someone that you like as they are right then, and not waiting for them to like get sucked into a relationship so you can really tell them, like, hey, I actually don't like how you look at all. I want you to change everything about yourself. Like, isn't there some integrity in like liking the person for who they are as they are?
Yeah, I agree. Hold on, I want to tell my husband what Doug just said. That's
Okay.
good, babe. Thank
That's
you.
all it'll do. It's incremental.
Thank you. He was turning my light down. He blasted me.
Oh.
Thank you. Doug Wood and Optavia were listening to his podcast.
Uh-huh.
And he basically was saying that if you have a partner that watches pornography, that you yourself should do the work. Essentially meaning you should do the work to change how your body looks, so that your partner doesn't look at pornography. What are your thoughts, sir?
Pornography is an addiction. It doesn't have anything to do with your spouse. It's just what is thrilling at that particular moment.
Yeah.
But
what do you think about him saying that that's the responsibility of their partner?
The responsibility of the partner is to jump on him and get dead in their ass and say, knock it off.
Yeah.
You have better things to do with your time.
Yeah. All right. He has spoken.
Mr. Bees is on fire.
Thanks, babe. Oh.
Than just
Everyone.
visual. I mean,
Oh, I'm
pornography.
sorry.
No, everyone's going wild for Jerry in the
He's amazing. We've been together a long time. We started dating in 2002 and got married in 2005. We've been through some things, I was just talking with, who was I talking with the other day? I don't remember. If I can give anybody any advice about relationships, not that I'm an expert because I'm learning every single day, communication. Communication. And with this topic that we're talking about with Doug and Tia, if pornography is something that you're not okay with, that needs to be communicated. And for Doug to be talking about this and saying, well, that's your responsibility. If your partner is watching pornography, then that's your fault, is essentially what he's saying. And that's disgusting. To blame your partner and just like DC was saying, if you're with somebody and you're not attracted to them, or there's things that you're like, we're not compatible on any level, any particular level, you shouldn't be with them.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks, we hate it.
And again, we'll do another episode on pornography and sexual desires and stuff
Oh,
like that
God,
in marriage
please
because we think
don't.
it's important.
Yeah.
This is Doug on Tia Unplugged, and we're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about marriage. We're going to talk about faith. We're going to talk about fitness, and we're going to talk about money because we're either growing and getting blessing in them, or they're actually detrimental and they're subjects that we want to avoid. And if we want to grow, we've got to talk about them. So
Yeah.
I just love that, I wanted you to desire me more, but I wanted to have the confidence for myself. I mean,
But see, here's the thing. Tia said, I didn't see you like that.
Yep.
When he was talking about having extra breast tissue, she was like, I didn't see that. He's like, I was uncomfortable taking my shirt off. And she was like, I had no problem with that. So this isn't about him wanting Tia to be more attracted to him. This is about him. Just like we've seen so many times from Doug, it's always about Doug. At the end of the day, it's about Doug.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
I have scars today, and I'm so proud of my scars, Tia.
Absolutely.
I take off my shirt with pride now because I have scars, and people sometimes, if they don't know me, they look, especially if I don't have a tan, you can see my scars more. And they're kind of looking at me, especially I have sunglasses on, so I can tell people if they're kind of staring at my chest a little bit, because it is a little bit still, I would say, deformed. I've always been big chested. Now that I work out, I'm just more broader.
Yeah.
But I have these scars, and I'm so proud of them because those are my battle scars.
They are.
But it also is a testimony to how far we've come. And yes, I wanted you to have, a
You
breast
wanted me to be
augmentation.
confident.
I wanted your confidence, but
Yeah.
I was just like,
You wanted me to
do it.
own who I was as a woman. You wanted me.
I'm sorry. I really don't feel like the size of a person that has breasts has anything to do with owning who you are as a woman, according to her. I just find that so weird.
Yeah, it's like morally and psychologically neutral. Like it's just, if you have bigger ones or none, like okay, like the issue to me is Doug saying that he kind of could only be attracted to her if she had bigger boobs. Yep. Her chest is all about him too. Yep.
Mhm.
And
You
again,
wanted me.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
we don't like what Doug stands for and what he pushes in MLM. He can do that, and he can also have body dysmorphia, and he can also have really wrong ideas about health and wellness, and it's a complex thing to unpack because it is like really interwoven sometimes with how you see yourself as a person. And the thing is, working with a therapist, you could separate some of what you think your worth is from what you've believed about your body playing into what your worth is. Like a therapist could help you or could help him like figure that out. And that's not me saying that he shouldn't have gotten his surgery. I'm saying that where his logical conclusions have led him is twisty, and he is then pushing that on other people, which I take issue with.
Agreed.
More than anything, I feel like just me to be confident in who I was. And you were always, I would say, reflecting back, just calling that out of me all the time. And so for me, and after I got my boobs done, and a lot of my closer friends we all got our boobs done. Some of them decided to get them taken out, and everybody has their different views on it. For me, but
it's something you chose.
I chose it.
I don't know who brought it up first. Did I or did you?
You
I
did.
guarantee you.
Honestly,
It was
you had a
when
friend.
I guarantee you it was Doug that brought it up first. I guarantee you.
He just said
My
you had
personal opinion.
he's the one that brought it up. He's about to say you had a friend who probably got her boobs done, but he was the one that noticed. So I bet it was him. God.
Mhm, I think so too.
Jeez.
Oh, that's yucky.
Started.
You had that one friend from Oregon, Alicia, do it before you, and that's kind of what opened your eyes to actually your circle.
Oh God. The guy remembering every single detail about a friend who and her name, her first and last name, and like when she got the surgery and what state she's from. Oh, but
Guys,
which one remembered it? Come on. Come on, Doug.
where are my Love is Blind fans? Not Love is Blind. Wait. Yeah, Love is Blind. Love is Blind season 6. If you know, you know. This is giving, what's his name? Jimmy
Mm.
at the party in the Dominican Republic where he was talking about AD being stacked in front of his fiance. That's what Doug is giving me right now.
Yep.
Remember that friend that you had that had the boob job? It opened your eyes, you know? Yeah, that's what this is giving. By the way, 100% that was inappropriate. It was I think it was inappropriate for Doug to even mention this person, first name, last name, state. What?
Yep.
And I just wonder if he made this other person uncomfortable because I could just picture the situation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, I cannot stand Jimmy. Yeah, right? Totally Jimmy vibes.
Oh my God.
My husband would never say, "Man, that chick is stacked." What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I've never met Jerry, but he seems like the kind of guy that would give someone on the back of the head if they were being inappropriate about somebody else. You know what I mean? Like he'd be like,
I
straighten
have a
up.
story about that.
Oh, I
Would you guys like to hear a little story from today, as a matter of fact?
drop a 1 in the chat if you want to hear story time because I want to hear story time. Drop a 1 in the chat. I'm gonna drop a 1 in my chat. One's
Okay, so
coming in hot.
it's a gym story. So today at the gym, and there's been several times that you guys know where I'm going with this. You guys already know. Listen, if you're a guy at the gym and you make people uncomfortable, stop it. Stop. There is a guy at the gym that I go to that has made me uncomfortable many, 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 many times. And the first time I was wearing my tank top that said Gen X, the original rebels, and I was working out. And in between my set, he was like, "Hey, where'd you get that shirt?" So I tell him because it has the name of the company on the tank top. And I was like, "Oh, this is where I got it." And he was like, "Oh, man, I need to get that for my wife. She would love it." I'm like, "You should. I think that's great." Went back to doing my workout. And then after that, each time that I would see him, not every single time, but most of the time, it was like he would go out of his way to interact with me or try to interact with me. And it got to a point where I was like, I need to cut off all communication with him. Like, and not that I was really communicating with him because I go in and I look like a straight bulldog. My husband laughs every time we walk in the gym together because he's like, "Oh, we're here to do some work." And I was like, "Yeah, we are." He'll tell you that too. Anyways, so then there was another time I was doing the leg extension. Yeah, he's married, by the way, allegedly. I was doing the leg extension and he came up and asked how many sets I had. And I was like, "I have 4 sets." And he was like, "Oh, 4 sets?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got 4 sets." Yes. There's other leg extension machines you could use. There's that one and there's that one over there. And he was like, "Oh, okay." And so I do 1 set and I'm training for hypertrophy. So I don't rush through anything and I'm careful in what I'm doing. And for those of you that understand that, y'all know what I mean. And so he came up and he's like, "Hey, can I work in with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, absolutely. No problem." And so he worked in on the set, which for those of you that are not gym goers, that means that I do my reps and then I get off the machine. He does his, and he would go over and do different things and come back when it was his time to do his set or whatever. And then I was like, as things were progressing, each time I was going to the gym and would see him, it was like I started to get really uncomfortable. Oh, he used to be a trainer too, by the way. Tell me why I saw him doing rows like this today. I'm not kidding. Anyways, also don't do rows like that. Okay. So I had to like cut off communication because he was getting really weird. And I'm like, what is going on? And to the point where I would pass him on like one of the walking paths within the gym. And he would be like this like, let's say I'm on this side. He would be like walking and looking at as I'm passing him. And I'm looking at my phone or I'm looking down or whatever. I'm not paying attention on purpose, like just trying to avoid the situation. Yeah. So things got really, really weird today. Yeah. On any machine that I was on, could this be a coincidence? Let me just say, yes, this could absolutely be a coincidence. But because of the history, you know, so no matter what machine I was on, every time I looked up in between sets and just kind of, looking around or whatever, not like being a weirdo, just in between sets, he was on the machine next to me or the machine next to that. He was always 1 to 2 machines away from me, no matter what he was doing or what I was doing.
Oh,
And his method, like the muscles that he was working out, did not make sense. When you're working out, that you group muscles together, and this didn't make any sense what he was doing. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I'd go on to the next exercise. And here he would be again. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. And I was like, this is really weird. So it's time for me to do my cardio. So I get on the stair stepper and I'm like, this guy's really making me uncomfortable today. And so I get on the stair stepper and I intentionally get in between 2 big firefighter guys. And I'm like, all right, cool. Because then he can't get on the machine next to me. So I get on the stair stepper and I'm doing my thing. And I'm like, God, this guy has my heart rate up. Like something is really weird. And yeah, it's super creepy. It's super creepy. And so I watch him. There's 2 water fountains. One is on the locker side and one is on the stair stepper side. They're literally on the opposite sides of the gym. And on the locker room side, I watch him go to the water fountain, get a drink. And I see him turn around and notice where I'm at. I'm on the stair stepper. And I'm, we know because women, we know, we're aware. And I watch him walk from one end of the gym to the other water fountain that's behind me. And I'm kind of looking through my peripherals. And as he gets behind me, he slows down a little bit. He notices that there's 2 giant guys next to me. And I'm like, I will tell these guys, I will make a scene. This will not be good. I watch him get a drink of water, turn around, see if I'm, paying attention. And then he walks out and struts like I'm going to notice him.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like, I know. And I watched him walk out the door. I watched him walk to the left and I was parked, the other direction or whatever. And I text Jerry and I was like, hey, remember, because I pointed him out to Jerry the other day. I was like, this is the guy. And he was like, okay. And I text Jerry and I was like, hey, can you meet me at the gym? Because he didn't go with me. He had an appointment or whatever this morning. I was like, can you meet me at the gym? And I told him the situation. He's like, yep, be right there. And so he ended up meeting me. And so that was my day. So now this is about to escalate. You're going to make me uncomfortable. I'm going to make you real uncomfortable. So don't be a creep at the gym. Thanks. That's my story.
Can we just stand Jerry for a second that he is so supportive and he's like, yep, got your back. I'll be right there. Freaking.
No questions. He was like, yep, be right there.
Amazing. I'm so sorry that that's happening to you. And it's just, you just get skeeved out. God, that, what a creep.
Yeah. And, I think that I think we are taught, I'm going to say women, based on my experience, I think we're taught to ignore those feelings. But my spidey senses, my intuition, my stomach was like, this is not right. This is, the first couple machines that I was on and him being, 1 or 2 machines away, I was like, okay, that could be a coincidence. But then as it continued and then to watch him go from one end of the gym to where I was at, when I just watched him drink from that water fountain, now he's going to walk over like I'm going to pay attention to him.
No.
So the next time I see him, there will be a confrontation because I can take up as much space as anybody else in that gym. And if you're going to make me uncomfortable, who else are you making uncomfortable? Because it's
Yeah.
not just me he looks at.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
coming soon. Actually, first I'm going to talk to the manager of the gym and be like, I just want you to know this dude makes me uncomfortable. So I will be creating a scene. So do something about it or enjoy the scene because that's coming.
Love it.
Ugh. Anyways, thanks, Chloe. I appreciate you. And also, if you happen to be at my gym and you're uncomfortable, you just come get me.
Oh,
I got your back.
that's awesome.
All right. Sorry, that was a long story.
No, we love story
It just
time.
happened today, though.
Yeah. Love story time. And again, that I think that's an interesting or a really helpful example because there's timid people like me in the world that would be afraid to say something, like even standing up to Doug Wood and Tia Wood too in that same situation in their downline where they're bullying people or, making or trying to make yourself smaller so that, you make room for how like big they're being. And it's like, no, I could say like this isn't appropriate or, you could do the same thing on Doug and Tia's team. So I think it's a really good example of like how do you stand up for yourself or like your instincts about something being not okay are right. If you feel like if you're in Optavia and your instincts are saying like something's wrong, listen to them. Like I think it was just a good it's a good story for this stream. Absolutely.
Thank you. I don't remember what sparked me telling that story, but yeah, it's going to be a very bad day for him. Today was the final straw. Before I was like, no. After today,
Yep.
honey, it's going to go down. So anyways, back to the video. I'm going to use the restroom. So I'll be right back. I'm going to play the video. Be right back.
Virgin.
And I saw her confidence.
Yes.
Yeah. And I saw how she just presented herself. And I was like, there was something about that. It was like, there's something in her that I know that I want to step into. I just didn't believe I was kind of worthy of it. I don't know. Like,
Pause on worthy for a minute. That's
Oh
a
God.
good word
yeah.
because
I
it's
mean,
real.
it's a real thing. And
Ooh.
so it was something I battled, but I mean, I would say even that season was a lot of me kicking that kind of, not kicking fear in the face or pulling me in closer. He's pulling me in closer.
Talk about this. I'm going to pull you in close.
I would just think, when I think about making that decision for myself, I was really partnering with my future self. When I think about like getting my boobs done, and I paid for it myself because I had been coaching and doing some entrepreneurial things over that year before that. Even beyond coaching, I had been hustling and slinging some bunk beds, and I was doing all kinds of things to be able to, well, not all kinds of things. I was doing
right.
things that I was being able to bring in some extra income. And so it was something I was proud of that I was investing in for myself, for our marriage, for our future, and really partnering with the confidence that I desired to have for myself.
Yeah. What did your boobs cost? Do you remember?
6,000 then?
They were like 6,000. What do they run? About 10 or 11 now?
10 or 11, maybe
10 or 11,000.
Yeah. But I had a lift because I didn't have much, and
you needed a lift.
And I nursed for a year and a half.
Talk about it. So you had nursed both girls.
Nursed both
So
girls.
you needed a lift.
Yeah, and
you got enhancements.
And I got enhancements. Yeah, that was in 2010.
Yeah,
and that was right after I lost my 40 pounds. And it was everything for in our intimacy and in our marriage. I really think that it broke off a lot of things off of us. I mean, I was able to go do a boudoir shoot for you. And it was just like, it was something that was really, it was me stepping into a new level of intimacy and confidence in myself.
Well, you already went there, spirit.
Clearly I missed something. What did I miss?
Well, Doug, sorry, I'm trying to put an overlay on. Doug just basically shaded sex workers. And then he also said you needed a lift. He said it over and over again. You needed a lift. And you and then she was like, oh yeah, I needed a lift. And he's like, and then you got enhancements. And she was like, yeah, I got enhancements. And we were like, Doug, say less. Literally say less. Like not in a say less kind of way, but shut up. Like, what are you doing?
Imagine if Tia started to point out what Doug needs to change, how he would take it. Like, Doug, these are the enhancements that I think you should have. Not that I'm going to go into any detail, but can you imagine?
Yeah. Jeez Louise.
Doug, you are so gross, in my opinion.
Have you
with
seen
what
that
you were
guy?
saying.
Have you seen that guy on Instagram, the one that like runs around with the red flag or the green flag and he like skips in the air? We need a little
Yes.
clip of him because we're just like, we need the red flag because come on.
I love
What-
that he's been doing green flags. I
Yeah.
love that.
I love the green flags too. But I
Oh,
love when
it's so
he's like standing up for someone on the internet and he's like gripping his like red flag and then it's just the best. Like this whole podcast, red flag.
Seriously.
Red flag.
Yep. Agreed. We love that guy. We really do.
Spiritually,
Yeah.
you had went there even physically. You had done everything that you could.
Yeah.
But it was like going next level. And I appreciate the work and the effort that you put in so far before that surgery.
I appreciate the work and effort that you put in. What in the Twilight Zone are we listening to right now? What the heck?
We both played a sound.
Oh, guys, sorry. Go ahead.
You played the Twilight Zone. I played this.
Yes. Yes, both of them together. The synergy of those sound bites was needed. Holy
That must have been very confusing. I apologize.
sorry, live chat. We were raging with the sound bites. It just happens sometimes.
That was wild. Definitely
Oh my
does.
God.
Yeah.
But also that was just like literally an enhancement to
Yeah.
us going next level in just our confidence, because it's not
It's almost like, could that be his little dream catalog? You know, this is what
Yep.
I like. This is what I like. This is what I like. Oh, I can hide behind my sunglasses so nobody sees. Oh,
Yep.
it's giving Jimmy from
It is.
Love is Blind.
It is giving Jimmy.
Also, AD, you should not have been flirting back, in my opinion. I feel like you should have cut that off and been like, hey, this is kind of not okay. Your fiance's right there. Or include the fiance in the conversation. Like, hey, come on over. No, that didn't happen.
how you look naked, it's how you look and feel in your clothes, the way
Yeah.
your dresses fit you, your womanly shape.
Yeah.
Stop
I just
agreeing
want
with
to
him.
also reflect back though. We decided to get healthy together. And I think that was a shift. It was a paradigm for us as a couple. And I just, sometimes I find that in marriages or in, relationships, like one of them is going up ahead. And that's good. I love coaching individuals that desire to get healthy, but when their spouse doesn't come along with them, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you have to have the spouse join the cult. Otherwise, the cult tactics won't work, right?
Yep.
Ugh.
I feel like this journey of that we can even sit here and talk about this is because we kind of drew the line in the sand and we had like a throwdown, like we've got to do something
Right.
for the future for our kids. Like we were looking at our kids, they were 2 and 1.5 and 3.5 or something. And we're like, if we don't get our stuff together,
Yeah.
if we don't get healthy, we're not going to, at that time we were even deciding like, we want to be the role models for
Yes.
our kids. We don't want Hollywood to be the role models for our kids. We wanted to be the role models for our kids. And so now my daughters see the confidence I walk in and,
Oh God.
I mean, for some of my friends are like, wow, you just walk naked in front of your girls. And it's like, yeah. And they walk naked
Yep.
in front of me. And
Yep.
it's a confidence kind of thing that I want.
Nope. Don't like that. Do not like that, because it is 100% okay for kids to have boundaries, for individuals, for human beings, for people to have boundaries and privacy. That's okay. Yeah. In fact, I suggest that. Not that you guys need my suggestions, but like, oh,
And there's a whole range of comfortability with your body, like Aaron's saying, with boundaries and stuff like that. But I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm just saying, like, it's a range of people. We're not all the same. We're very different. There's some people who are more comfortable with things and some people who are less, and like that's okay. It wasn't just, oh, everybody has to do this because we think this is important for, you to be able to be comfortable with your body. I mean, if they want to be more I don't know if they want to actually like not show their body to other people. Like they have the right not to do that. Like, come on.
Also,
His kids
it
are
just makes me wonder if one of the daughters was like, I'm not comfortable with that. I want to keep my body to myself. If that would be met with, okay, that's fine, you can do that, or if that kiddo is going to be shamed because they're not comfortable with their body,
Yep.
because
And
that is infuriating.
his girls are older teens, and they have a younger son, I think 10 or something like that. So his daughters are like in the midst of just going through changes, and like I don't know. I don't want to imply anything about Doug. I am just mostly concerned by some of the stuff I'm hearing of like, okay, I understand I have a bias. I understand I have a bias towards Doug and Tia. I also am highly like focused on protecting kids. Some of this language is red flaggy to me, and I'm open to hearing other sides of it, but it doesn't pass the sniff test for me off the bat.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned.
I think if we remove that Doug and Tia, just to kind of look at this from a different perspective, if we removed and that it's these two and their family, and we heard just about some random somebody that the mom was walking around naked in front of her daughters and vice versa, would we have the same kind of reaction? And I think we would. I think we'd be like, that just seems a little, lacking of boundaries. And so that's the way I'm thinking about it. Do we like what Doug and Tia are doing? No. But what they're saying, I think if we were to remove that it's them and look at anybody else, I think we'd be like, that's
Yeah. And I think that's really a good way to put it, because I know we cover multi-level marketing content probably exclusively here. And you can, again, the same thing I keep saying on my channel, like ideas can stand up to scrutiny. And if they can't, they deserve to like be toppled. And so when we're saying, okay, like Aaron just said, we take sorry, my dogs are yodeling. You take the bias aside, you set it aside. If we replace this with somebody else, would we also get those feelings? Then yes, like hopefully that's something that live chat is here for, because we don't want to just go on a bias train and start speeding up without any breaks,
Right.
It's just it can get twisty. It can get twisty when you're passionate about stopping people from scamming others and sharing really bad information about health and wellness. And it's good to be able to slow down and, and also in this case, like what the heck's going on with the kids? It's just twisty.
Makes me nervous.
Yep.
Them to own in as they launch out and when they meet their future husbands and and have their own marriages, I want that confidence to be just in them. I don't want them to have to fight for it like I had to fight
Well,
for
let's
it.
just talk about that and we'll get back to the other surgeries that we've chosen to have, and mine recently. But America has sexualized everything, and it's sad what is going on in the culture. But it wasn't that we didn't realize how weird America was until we started going to Europe. What was it, 7 or 8 years ago?
Yeah, about that.
And we would go to spas or we'd go on the beaches or whatever. And it is not like just the spas, the saunas, even like you can't. And we tell people now this, we go to all these incredible, we travel the world.
Yeah.
We've been to Switzerland, Germany, Italy. What else? Where else have we went to where we've been to the
Croatia.
spas? Croatia.
Or
and we go to the hot saunas, and it's not like it's swimsuit
Oh, I'm
optional.
sorry.
It's
No, he's like, we travel the world. We travel the entire world. You name 4 places. Like, come on. So, and they've been to European countries. Like, come on. Just what the heck? It comes across as somebody who's bragging about how much money they have and how well traveled they are. When you can just say, look, we privileged too. It's just like, if you're actually a world traveler, I don't think you're going to brag about it. Like, it's an opportunity and it's a privilege to be able to travel. And most people are like grateful that they get to, if they even do get to go to other countries and experience other cultures. and they come across as like, oh, we have so much money that we can do all this stuff. And then they claim they have been to all these places and they only list 4 places. It's like, okay, we get it. We get it. You were overhyping what you've actually done.
Typical for people in MLM, in my opinion.
Suit forbidden.
Yeah, you don't,
Because it's a way of life.
grab
And
your robe and you go into the
yeah,
hot
you have a
tub.
towel, you get a towel, and that's it.
Yeah,
And
some of them have you have a robe, but
first we went in there and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so weird.
it was
we
very,
can do this. And I realized we were making it weird. And 2, you go in there
and it's for your
and
wellness.
everybody looks the same.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at each other.
No,
Shoot, they don't even speak your language anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. You can't tell me that Doug wasn't looking at other people just from what he has shared on this podcast.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Chantel had a good comment. I can't imagine why Thea wasn't confident in herself with a husband like Doug, yapping at her all the time about how her body is never good enough. Yep. Spot on.
A great comment.
Some people look great. Some people don't look great at all.
no, they're
But here's the cool part. I was looking for
Some people look great. Some people don't look great. But Doug, I thought you weren't looking at other people.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Huh.
Strange. God.
Yet another contradiction. Cool.
Yep.
about the first minute or 2. After that,
yeah,
butts, boobs, and ding dongs all start looking the same.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And it was so not weird, even on the beaches.
yeah.
And that was the first time we were just like, why do we make sexual bodies weird? I remember, I think of Tommy Boy years ago, playing with your dinghy. Summer and I joke about, don't touch your business. She was told as a kid, don't touch your business. And now we're like, touch your business every day, but we're talking about your business that you're working on, right?
Why, Doug? Why?
Doug, like, why did you have to do that? Like, come on, dude. Like, what the hell? Dear God.
Attention shoppers, please mark yourself safe from Doug and Tia Wood. Please mark yourself safe from Doug and Tia Wood. Thank you.
I had to because that was disturbing.
Yep.
Oh my God.
But, and then I was like, when I was younger, I remember like anytime I'd put my hands down my pants and like either adjust myself, or I don't know. I was like Phoenix's age and my mom would be like, yeah, okay, yucky. Don't do that. And I'm like, what's so yucky
It's not.
about it?
It just,
But it's the way either they were raised,
Yeah,
and it was
exactly.
just thing. And I'm just like, man, our bodies
breaking-
are beautiful temples of that God has, birthed us with, that we get to enhance on this side of eternity. And what we have seen, people that are breaking through fear physically
Yeah.
are the ones who are breaking through spiritually. And we're seeing
emotionally,
more people,
mentally. Yeah.
especially in the church right now. We see more people.
Doug, why don't you shut your mouth for a minute and let Tia finish a sentence?
You know what I want to do? I want to cut up this podcast and everything that Tia says and time it, and then how much Doug has said, and then look at the disparity in time, because I bet she hasn't spoken a full minute, or maybe a couple minutes. I bet she
I
has,
believe that.
because that's freaking wild.
Yuck. I'd love to see that. Tag me in that if you do that.
I will.
Tag me in all the things.
Okay.
Peoply. We see more people. Absolutely. They say that they're breaking through spiritually, but it's very clear their body is bound.
Their body is
up.
not looking that. Right.
Pastors, worship leaders,
Yeah.
congregants. We
Yeah.
were one of them, Tia. And
Yeah.
you think back of how bound up. And we were probably doing more Bible studies.
How bound up? Do you need some fiber in your life? You eating some fruits and vegetables?
God.
Just, I don't want to go there.
Being having the range of like when I was playing full time and being smaller and muscular, and now being bigger and having mobility issues, it's been a range of like figuring out how to see myself differently and figuring out how to accept myself as I am right now while still working on a full spectrum of health. But it is awful running into people who are so disgusted by you, by how you look, like weight wise, and you're already still trying to figure out and love yourself and appreciate and be grateful for genuine things that your body can like do. And listening to Doug, it's just I would never want to be within like, I don't know, several states of him because of how disgusted he sounds like he is around people that don't fit his idea of what a healthy person should be. It's just frustrating.
Valid. Not that you need me to tell you that. You know,
And scripture stuff back then, I don't even remember them because our body was literally, our bodies are keeping score.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, your body is keeping score
Yeah.
of where you're at spiritually, mentally,
Yeah.
and physically.
Yeah.
It's showing everything.
Yeah. So for us, for me getting that, 2010 and about 2010 too, for that
Yeah, we did them
original
within the same year.
was, I believe, like it was cutting off old ways of thinking. It was cutting off like our old way of living. And it was like, we're from here forward, we're stepping into new. And so that began us, we really didn't start working out. I mean, we would run 5Ks, we would do 10Ks, warrior dashes, things
Yeah.
like that. But we weren't like lifting in the gym or anything
No.
like that. So when we got out here to Arizona, we moved out here
Your summer of 2014.
because you were dealing with a lot of seasonal depression up in Oregon. We had gone full time in coaching. We're kind of in this new season. We knew we needed to do life differently.
Well, pause right there before you go on, because we'll talk about this on future episodes. But most people live where they live because it's where they grew up.
Their family.
A job keeps them there.
that's not true. That's not true at all. Because just people in the military is a perfect example. They don't live there because they grew up there.
Yep.
Hello?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Or if you're, dependents and stuff like that, like, you move around, and it's one of the twisty things too about if you're in the military, you kind of get targeted more from multi-level marketing companies because you're trying to connect with people. Somebody reaches out, you think you're going to a coffee, you end up getting actually pitched for an MLM. It gets old after a while. And so it's just his logic about stuff's wild because there's so many people who move around so much. Like, come on, dude.
That was the first example that I thought of. I was like, what about people in the military? They don't live there because they grew up there, Doug.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Mhm.
Or family obligations. I couldn't leave my
Right.
and
My dad. Yeah.
but also those are things that keep you tied down.
Yeah.
Because often we stay in one place for
Yeah.
a couple of people that we do love, but we have a whole life to live, and more than a life to live, we have a legacy to raise.
Oh yeah.
And if
For
we're not
future
in
generations.
a productive environment, that's why I always tell people, if you move to Scottsdale, if your income
Let her talk. Hashtag
Yeah.
let Tia talk.
We got to tag that. Let Tia talk. Dear God. What's wrong with living in the same spot too? Like, there's nothing wrong with that either.
True.
They're shading people for like, oh, if you stay in the same spot, you're complacent. Well, okay, what if you live on maybe a house that's been handed down to you because it's been in your family for a lot of generations and it's what you can afford? Like, I don't. Doug's
Yeah.
logic literally doesn't logic, and it's wild to listen to. And the fact that he keeps interrupting Tia, who I have lots of points of contention with her, but to be silenced like through the whole podcast, give her a break, dude.
Yeah. I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at this comment.
Quiet. Oh my
just to be super clear. I think this is a perfect example of black and white thinking that we
Yep.
see in high control groups. It's either
Yep.
this or that,
Yep.
and that's just not the case because humans are here to live a human experience, and it's not black and white. Life is gray. It's tons of gray area.
And some people also, there's Mojito Sims is saying, what if you literally don't have an option to move away? That's so multifaceted. If you even like have a housing situation at all, it's multifaceted. And Doug, I don't know. I don't know if Doug, this is probably not nice. I don't know if Doug would understand nuance if it hit him in the head. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't, because of the way that he describes situations and people and health and everything. It's either, like Aaron's saying, it's this or nothing. So I love a ding. Let's go.
Does not increase and your health does not increase.
Yeah.
Basically, if your income doesn't increase and your weight does not decrease within 6 months to a year, you're simply in the wrong circle.
Yeah, you're not in the right.
Because we needed to put ourselves in an
Another example of black and white thinking. Not everybody is trying to lose weight. Some people are happy with the size of their body and how they feel. Some people are trying to gain weight. So again, another example of very black and white thinking that I feel like that can be very dangerous in several circumstances, of course, but
environment.
Yeah.
And again, there's a lot of beautiful places around the entire country.
Yeah.
But we knew when we needed to move, and we moved in a weird 2014. Our business was not necessarily thriving.
No.
But we knew we had to get out, and we could always fly back and go visit. But we were choosing to get out of a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Where we were the biggest fish in
We
either
decided,
our church and
yeah.
town, and maybe not town, but our circles are small.
Yeah.
And we're like, we need to put ourselves
Who says I'm the biggest fish? It's giving Jax Taylor and Vanderpump Rules. I'm the number one guy in this friend group. That's what the energy that Doug is giving right now. Because what are you saying? We're the big fish? Who rates their friends like that? Who's like, you know what? I'm the best person in the group. What kind of, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand friendships, because like that seems wild to me.
I don't think he has genuine friendships. That's just my opinion, because I don't think it's normal to rate your friends. That's weird. They're either your friends or they're not, and that's okay. Also, it's giving somebody's ego is way out of control. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
in an uncomfortable state where it forces us to
Yeah.
level up and grow.
Yeah.
So anyway, you were saying we moved here in 2014.
Moved here, for a lot of years, I was really wanting another baby, and I was like, we're building business. Our business was our third baby, and we were building that. And
You
so,
talk about this in detail in Church Boy to Millionaire
And
Kick Fear in the Face.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The story of the move and the story of Phoenix. It's called Fireworks with Phoenix. If you haven't downloaded Church Boy to Millionaire on Audible, I do read it, or got the hardback.
Yeah.
Incredible. But we defined this story because you wanted a baby for so long, Tia.
so long. And finally, we kind of came onto the same page, and you said yes. And we got our boy, we got our Phoenix. And so after having him in 2017 and coming into 2018, I had been working out in the gym. I had met Rosie. She had a gym here in the local area, and I was starting to get involved with some other women that were getting into fitness, and I was getting my weight off again because I gained back my weight after having, Phoenix. I gained a lot of the weight back. And so I was on my journey of losing that weight again. And I would go work out with all these women, and they're like, I'm watching them work out, and they're doing planks, and my stomach's just hanging. And I'm like, like, how in the world? They've had 3 babies. They had 4 babies. And so I called one of them over after one of the workouts one time. I'm like, how do you get your abs? And she's like, I didn't get my abs from here. I got my abs from Dr. Sujimaro here.
She's like, I did all the work I could, and then this is what God blessed me with.
Right.
And Dr. Sujimaro polished these bad boys up.
So I'm like, well, I need Dr. Sujimaro's contact info. So
I'm sorry, but having visible abs, 1, you have to be working the muscle, but 2, it's from being really lean, from the nutritional aspect of it. If that's your goal, not everybody wants to have visible abs like that. To go from, oh, my stomach was hanging, and then to jump right to cosmetic surgery is like, but you're not telling the whole truth.
Yep. And when you have skin too that overlaps I'm not trying to give TMI, but like you get sores and rashes that sometimes you cannot fix with like medicine from the doctor. Sometimes you need the surgery to prevent you from having consistent like open wounds and stuff like that. So, and I'm not saying that all cosmetic surgery has to be for health purposes. Doug doesn't describe anything though like it is for anything but aesthetic reasons. And another point is it would be lovely to hear someone say, "Hey, you know what? I grew a human and I birthed a human, and that's incredible." And give their body like space and kindness and empathy for what your body did and not have the partner shame the crap out of them for not being a size, 2 anymore with abs. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying where's the balance of saying, like, "You know what? It seems like and I've never been able to get pregnant, but it seems like it's hella hard to grow a human for 9 months, give birth, recover, keep the human alive, keep yourself alive after the fact, and then, like, do all that stuff." And then some partner or the world's telling you, like, "Oh, yeah, your body that did this miraculous thing, yeah, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right for what, we want it to do." So it's like it's just frustrating to have this one-sided idea presented that your body apparently is abhorrent after, something like what Tia went through giving birth. I don't agree with it. So,
Agreed. Agreed completely. It's a lot of work to heal after having a baby. Speaking from personal experience twice. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time, a lot of patience, and the pressure from society to get in your pre-pregnancy genes and all of that, and the lack of taking care of the birthing human is really disgusting. The lack of support here in the United States for people that are birthing humans is really disgusting.
yeah.
It's really embarrassing in my opinion,
And Melissa had
we had.
I'm
I had-
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm definitely a comment
You're okay.
person. Melissa said, what happened to their big revelation from Europe that nobody cares? So that's another hypocritical moment from Doug and Tia Wood.
Absolutely. That's a great point.
Invested in myself. Doug and I have always felt like, you are your best investment, right? Because out of there flows everything. And so, Doug and I talked about it. I'm like, babe, I really think I need to, get this taken care of. And you were like 1,000% on board. And so I went and got a tummy tuck in 2018. And it was the best decision of my life. It was not overnight sensation though. I mean, I did lipo on my back. I would say it took about 2.
Didn't he shame lipo at the beginning of this?
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird how, it's okay because Tia had lipo, so I'm not going to shame her. Maybe he does. I don't know. But funny how at the beginning of this, he was shaming people that got lipo, like they weren't doing the work. But now it's okay because it's them. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
2-3 years.
But it was
really
a
to see the
stubborn
whole-
area
Yeah.
that you worked your butt off. And
it's
it's just, we
skin.
all have, again, I had that stubborn fat
Yeah.
on my chest that the doctor said is skin. And it's like this baby fat that is just kind of, it's not coming off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you did a little.
Were you wanting me to pause it? You look like you.
Just the hypocrisy of him confirming what Aaron said but she worked on it, so it was okay for her to get surgery. Excuse me? Like, okay, sir. No.
Yeah.
No.
No, thank you.
little bit of that right like on your lower waist, right towards the back.
And I did, lipo on the back. So those two things helped
And
really get my.
didn't you redo your boobs?
And then a year later, I went back and did my boobs.
That wasn't in the same one?
No, because I
thought
was
that was
still
surgery.
nursing. I mean,
Okay.
I thought he would be done nursing, and
Yeah.
then when I did the tummy tuck, and then he
Yeah.
didn't quit nursing. So then I did
I'm not done nursing.
for life. You get to nurse.
Oh,
I think they call it something different now. That is so weird.
Oh my God. I don't look, whatever you do in your bedroom, fine. I don't want to know about it on a podcast without any warning. Dear God. Oh my god. I'm sorry. That was probably an overreaction.
No, I don't think it was an overreaction. I think that none of us were prepared for that.
You don't want to know what Doug Wood does in the bedroom with Tia. Like, come on.
God.
God.
Was that the Windows shutdown sound that I just heard?
My brain is broken.
Oh God.
Unexpected.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
Gross.
That culture is like making it so it's not perverted. Anyway, so I went on to go get my boobs done. And I was one nice thing about they don't always say that you can nurse after getting a boob job, but I was able to.
Yeah.
And that was something that was important to me. Not for all moms is that important, but yeah, I went and got my boobs done. And I don't think you need to do that every 10 years, but I did.
Yeah, and also one thing I've learned about boobs, I hate it, it's kind of like, and we have a lot of exciting episodes coming up.
Oh,
but
do you?
right now the big one is medically supported weight loss. It's incredible. GLP-1s, peptides, Monjero, everything is like, these are such amazing tools to help people. But also when someone does one.
Wasn't there a screenshot of a story or a Instagram post where Doug was just dumping on people who cheated by doing weight loss medication, and now he is all, oh my god, it's so incredible, it's so helpful, it's so great because Optavia has it to sell now? So of course commission integrity came in and changed what he thought was good and what wasn't good. Okay.
Commission integrity nailed it.
Ugh.
Wow. Also, what? Amazing tools. Okay, Doug.
Yep.
If they were such amazing tools, why weren't they transparent about using specific peptides and such in the last year?
Yep.
Fascinating.
Great thing. It can easily get villainized.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that with
All
anything
the Debbie
great.
Downers come out.
You villainized it, Doug and Tia and Optavia. That rhymed.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah, but also, sometimes, we've got an Airbnb property in North Scottsdale, our big, beautiful dream home that we chose to move out of a year and a half ago and move into this great apartment here in downtown Scottsdale. Breakthrough Acres is on rental, and we've had over, I think, 60 people stay there in a year and a half. I mean, it's a luxury property. We've had celebrities come in and stay. We've had, a lot of people have had big retreats. I mean, it's a mega property.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, we go to the nines. We have incredible people that house that property,
Take care of it. Yeah.
take care of it, and like treat all the guests. Like literally, we leave them everything. We're like, for the amount of money that they're paying to rent this place,
Right.
we make sure that it's a great experience. But the other day we got our first 4-star review. We've had all 5-star reviews because we provide a 5-star experience.
Yeah.
And the reason that somebody left a backed off 1 star, I don't remember it now, but we ended up talking to the guy after. We're like, seriously? Like we didn't talk to him, but Ryan did. And,
Yeah.
and it was just like, and then it was enough to knock us down to now we're a 4.9999 star. It's like, oh man, something didn't go personal, but guess what we're sitting here talking about? And so I've also seen,
That's good.
you also went to a really good doctor, and you have to be careful of what you put in your body, because there are people, especially in Mexico, doing some lame and some bad, not good things. That's why you got to make sure you do your research and really work with. And most of the doctors are amazing and good, especially here in Scottsdale. My gosh, your doctor in Oregon was incredible, but there was some.
Oh my God.
Like, I love that they're so like, this is my assumption, the way that there are really good clinics in Mexico, there's really good surgeons in Mexico. The fact, now, do what's right for you, but the way they described it was just like, oh, that third-rate country down there, blah blah blah. It's like, you're so disrespectful to other people, in my opinion. Maybe I'm overreacting to what he said, but my ears perked up in a really bad way. What the heck?
I think they are disrespectful, honestly. I think that their privilege is like, ugh.
Like Blondie said, he needs to stop. Mexico has amazing care. He has no clue.
Yeah. Also, what do doctors in Mexico have to do with their 4-star review?
Great question, Melissa. Great question.
Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. I don't know.
Some people that maybe their
They
boobs
did not
didn't work
go-
out for them
yeah.
and they thought that they made them sick, and then they get on these websites. And again, some people's experiences are definitely their truth.
Yeah.
But I've also seen some like, oh man, I need to get my boobs out. They're making my eyes bad, and they take the before and after photos with
Yes.
their eyes.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they stop posting photos of their after photos because they realize their afters and their befores are the same.
Right.
And it actually wasn't the boobs making them sick.
It was other
It could have been other things.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
I just
It was
think
mental.
that,
Yeah.
sometimes, and some people maybe did have
It did.
their body
rejected
having a
it.
foreign
Yeah.
substance or whatever inside of your body, their body didn't react
It
to
didn't do well.
But
And
we
that's
have
okay.
seen
Yeah.
more. I mean, out of how many people do we know probably
That I referred?
personally? Well, just to our doctor. I bet you know of 100 and 150 friends or acquaintances
Probably
that have
5
gotten
to
boobs
7
that
of them have.
it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So you got to do what's best for you, because I loved it when you then knew what you wanted.
Yeah.
And you went back after Phoenix and got them redone. And
Yeah.
here you are.
Yeah. And I feel like I walk in confidence in my beauty and my sexuality, and
Yeah.
I feel confident. I'm grateful that I did it for myself. And
Yeah.
I think
I mean, but did you do it for yourself? Because
Sounds good for
I
Dougie.
hope that she did. But from the sound of this podcast, it doesn't, in my opinion, sound like it was for her.
Yeah.
And that's really sad if that's the case.
Yep. I mean, and again, there's something complex when you're in a partnership, in my opinion, that there seems to be a give and take, that you're wanting to do things to support and y- create a positive experience for your partner. There has to be at some point where you need to be able to live life for yourself too, like in terms of chronic pain and trying to get better. I want to get better because I know it puts a lot. Before, I wanted to get better because I knew like what I was going through was putting a lot of stress on my spouse and my family. But my sister-in-law said you need to be able to want to get better for you. And I think that applies here in what Aaron is saying, because you're making these aesthetic changes to your body. And I think it's important for you to do that for yourself, not just always living for your partner or your family. And I know it's more complex than that. I'm just talking about all of these aesthetic changes and things that Tia's doing to make Doug happy. Doesn't seem like it is sustainable or healthy in the long run.
Yeah, I agree.
every one of us has to make a decision. And for me, I was worthy of that.
Yeah.
I was worthy of not like my family. I remember my grandparents would talk about like in eternity, we're going to have the boat and we're going to have the perfect life and everything. And it was always like outside of us, like they just couldn't wait for heaven because life would be perfect in eternity. And I've learned the paradigm of like, no, God wants us like in the here and now to live our best life and live it to the fullest. And so I know eternity is going to be amazing, but I also know like I get to live heaven on earth now, and I get to invest in becoming the best version of myself. And that ripples out to my children.
Yeah.
When I'm my best self, I'm best in our marriage. When I'm confident.
See, but their definition, excuse me, of being their best self is directly linked to the size of their body and being the smallest version, smallest waistline. Why am I saying that? Because that is something that is standard in coach Optavia, in the coaches in Optavia.
Sure.
And so I feel like her saying, I mean, I think that let me just say this. I think it's a great thing for people to want to be their best version of themselves and in however they define that. But I think the problem with this coming from Doug and Tia is the fact that it is associated directly with being in the smallest form of your body. And I just think that is so unhealthy. And I think it's terrible advice at the end of the day.
Yep.
In myself, when I'm taking care of myself, when I'm taking, the peptides, when I'm getting my hormone therapy, when I'm, doing the things that in the
Utilize those
natural,
tools, yeah.
I'm using the tools that are here for me to grab hold of and invest in myself. And some people are like, well, I don't want to spend that kind of money on myself. It's like, well, if you don't, then what are the repercussions? Like
Right.
I am seeing the blessing of the investment of taking, I mean, especially I'm in my
Right.
40s raising, you know, a 7-year-old boy. Like I have to stay active. I've got to like have the energy to keep up with him. And so we are.
Hey, Tia, you know how you can have energy? One of the things that can contribute to having energy, eating enough calories.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI. Tia, you may want to write that down.
But how?
Our
But
greatest-
Eric,
Sorry.
how is she supposed to be his I'm gonna say corn, but insert the P. How is she supposed to be his corn star, you know,
Mm.
person for Doug? And I'm not shading the sex industry. I'm just saying Doug has a specific look that he wants his partner to be. And how is she gonna do that if she's eating enough calories to be strong and have enough endurance to, you know, run and play on the jungle gym with her kid? You know, it's like, you know, she's not playing into Doug's fantasy, in my opinion. And that's not me saying like if you are smaller, you're a worse person. Absolutely not. I'm saying, do you have pressure to be something else than what you would naturally want to be if you didn't have someone forcing you to do something? That's my question. And I think Tia has a lot of pressure from Doug to be a specific way, to look a specific way.
Yeah.
Asset and our greatest investment. And
Yes.
so I just encourage you wherever you're at in your journey, and you can hustle. Like I said, I hustled before I, you know, was able to get my boobs done. I was helping Doug in the furniture business, selling, you know, online, and I was building our
You were
coaching business.
health coaching.
Yeah,
at
I
the
was-
beginning stages. We were paying off
I was
debt
helping a
and-
lot of clients at the time.
Yeah, you
So-
were sliding like $1,000 a month aside for the boob
for
job
6 months. I was doing that.
for 6 months.
Yeah.
So those are some of the first things that we spent money on because we valued it. But I
Yeah.
will say this, okay? Because I know some of you right now, and I hope you do. I hope you send this episode to somebody that you love and you care about, or share it with your spouse. Because I just think it's a healthy conversation to at least go, Doug and Tia talked about some interesting things in here.
Yeah.
What'd you think? I think that is good.
I mean, they talked about some interesting things, but I don't know that I would suggest this for a friend or even having my husband listen to the episode. He would probably listen to just a couple minutes and be like, no, done.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly would pay good money to hear Jerry react to some of Doug's fluffery. I would.
I don't
definitely-
know if he would. I'll have to ask him because when I was in MLM, I'd be like, come on, babe, do this live with me. Do this with me. And he'd be like, all right. And so now when he says, no, I don't want to do that. So like when I ask him off camera things and he'll respond back. But you know, when he says, no, I don't want to be on camera. I don't remember what it was the other day. Oh, his reaction to the military reel that I did, the military couple that didn't buy travel insurance and expected the cruise line to honor travel insurance that they didn't buy. And somebody said, what did he say? You know, and I was like, maybe I can get him to, you know, react to it. Or he was like, no, I don't want to be on camera. And I was like, okay, but what are your thoughts on this? And he's like, they're out of control. He was like, yeah, that's not normal. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
I don't remember what else he said, but yeah, anyways, I'll ask him. We'll see. But
Okay.
he'll probably say no. And that's okay.
Conversation,
Yeah.
or some of you are going to share this with your clients, and great, do so. But I also want to say, if your marriage is on the rocks and you're thinking, well, if I just get boobs, it's going to save my marriage. That's not true. There's a lot of soul and deep work that T and I have done.
A lot of marriage retreats.
Marriage retreats. I did deal heavily with pornography early on in our marriage back around this time.
Sounds
There it is. There it is.
Wow, what a full circle moment. So he had an issue with watching pornography. But earlier in this, didn't he say if your partner is watching pornography, it's because you're not right? Like the spouse, the partner?
Yep.
Wow, Doug.
Yep. And I know there's a whole range of like what people do and don't like to watch and what they think is okay in the context of Doug and Tia Wood and what they believe as Christians. It is generally not accepted in their group, their culture, their religious organization to do that. Especially, I think in Root into Being can tell me, I think they were part of a pastoral like training program back in the late 90s. It's just it doesn't fit with what they say they stand for theologically and all this other stuff. So I think he told on himself that he and what kind of pressure would that put on Tia if your husband was doing stuff that you as a group said you lived your whole life saying like this isn't okay, and then your husband's like basically saying you're not enough for me, so I need to go watch this, and I really want you to look like this person, that you're saying that wouldn't put any pressure on you to become a person so that he wouldn't be participating in things that would impact your quote unquote salvation. Like I'm saying the religious part of this and the pressure that he's put on Tia is twisty. I know there's a whole range of people in the chat, people who believe, people who don't believe, people who believe something completely different. I'm saying that undue influence in this situation is wild, and it's even twistier when you understand the religious implications that they both are a part of, in my opinion. So
Yeah. I just keep going back to, I don't remember who it was that was talking about the pool parties and how he's mentioned having sunglasses on so people can't see. The way that he described it was so people don't see that he's noticing them looking at his chest because he's had, surgery on his chest to remove fatty tissue. But I'm just wondering, and I think you guys know where I'm going, what it would be like to be around him in this scenario with the things that he has shared on this podcast.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And just that thought makes me kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just me. I don't know.
But it did not save me. That's not the reason that Tia got boobs and it solved all my Doug issues or Tia issues. This is soul work that we have done, but it was an enhancement.
Yeah.
Yes, pun intended.
That's good.
It was an enhancement. So I just
Did you hear her? Yes, that's a good one. No, it's not, Tia. God, stand up for yourself.
Jeez Louise. And again, when you're in that long-term relationship with someone who continually, it seems like, makes you try to be somebody that he wants you to be or they want you to be or she wants you to be, and make yourself smaller and smaller and smaller, the amount of pressure and influence that you're letting the person do to you or whatever, like I could see why even if she thought differently, she wouldn't speak up at this point. And I'm not saying that she's mind controlled. I'm just saying it's complicated. Relationships are really, really complicated. And us like wanting her to stand up for herself, like I hope she does stand up for herself someday. I wish she stood up for herself on this podcast. I wish that she didn't let Doug like speak over her and silence her all the time. It's just awful.
Mm-hmm.
make sure that like, oh, if I get this, that'll solve all my, it will not. It will not. But I also do want to say this, okay? I believe you owe it to yourself to get your healthiest. Yeah. Men, if you're listening to this right now, stop eating chicken wings and being a gross pig and sliding into bed with your wife wanting.
First of all, there's nothing wrong with chicken wings. Okay. It's protein. Doug, calm down.
Yeah.
I mean, wash your hands before you get in bed, but enjoy the chicken wings. Brush your teeth. I don't know. Take a shower if you need to. Change your clothes.
Yeah. Really quickly, if you're just coming into the chat, this is a mobile stream, so it's a little bit different format. The live chat is going to be on my face. It's going to be transparent. You're going to be able to enjoy the conversation and see all of the conversations coming in. This isn't a new, Aaron's not going to be streaming this way for forever and ever. There's going to be the original aspect ratio as well. We're trying this out as something that YouTube just changed to make it available. YouTube likes when you try new things. So I know it's different. I know that can be unexpected. And like, if you're a person like me and it's surprising to you, that's what it is. And so you can really enjoy it on your phone or have it on your computer to the side and do something else while we're chatting. But we're glad everybody's here. Hello to the new people. You do have to be a subscriber to chat, but hope that you subscribe and get to rage with us about this really twisty podcast.
There's a lot to rage about too.
There is.
Sex or her to give you a blowjob, because clean yourself up, man. Groom
my
yourself up a little bit. Like, get some manscapers and take care of yourself. Eat a salad once in a while, eat some lean chicken, and like start doing the work. If you want more of your wife, well, then guess what? Do more for you. Even though women aren't especially the longer you're married, it seems like, Tia is,
I don't know what he's about to say, but I know it's going to be triggering. So,
yikes.
Women, we travel to Europe all the time and we see, we travel to the United States and we see more beautiful women than we do often with a very unhealthy man. And and I'm just like, dude.
Very much most of the time it's like that.
Well, I'm just thinking,
What?
dude, your pancake ass needs to go. Like, do some squats, bro. Like, throw up a dumbbell like once in a while, because I'm like, and I try not to put shame on people. In my mind,
I try not to put shame on people. Meanwhile, I'm going to shame everybody, including his downline, including his wife. I hope he's not talking to his children this way.
Even if he's not talking to his children this way, they're seeing how he talks to his wife and what he says about these fat people that he's seeing, or these ugly people, or these, unbalanced relationships, and the kids are gonna pick that stuff up. The kids are gonna pick it up. It's awful.
I hate it so much.
Jeez.
thinking like, dude, your wife is clearly putting in the work. Why don't you put in some reps too?
Yeah.
Why don't you put in a little bit of effort? Because
I've seen your reps, Doug, at the gym.
Oh,
The form is questionable. Let me just say that.
us as men, sometimes we have expectations either sexually or of how we
I'm sorry, expectations? That's not how that works. Expectations. Okay.
want her to be or perform or look, and they feel that from us, but are we putting in that work?
Mhm.
And vice versa, women, like, I'm going to challenge you to give your man more to look at, more to squeeze, less to squeeze.
Doug, disrespectfully, shut up. Give your man something to look at. We are, by existing. Thank you. What?
Yeah. I can't believe he said that. His girls and his son are hearing this stuff, and they're going to hear this podcast. If you think that, like Aaron said earlier in the stream, what are they saying behind closed doors? Because I bet you his kids are picking stuff up, and I am really disheartened listening to him talk about people this way.
I mean, we knew this was going to be bad, but I don't think we knew it was going to be this bad.
I didn't know it was going to be this bad, because holy crap. Oh my
Ugh.
God.
I don't know. Like, these are the things, Tia, that I know have been keys to us breaking through.
Yeah. It's the keys to the kingdom, right?
It's
Us
not,
getting
though.
fit together. We're almost coming up on 3 years anniversary of more bodybuilding type workouts that we've been doing with Nate. I feel like that was a major shift in us making that decision to make working out together a priority.
Yeah.
Like, other things can move on the calendar. Me learning the
Someone banned.
importance of waking up. I would rather.
Oh.
No, let's talk about it. First of all, there's nothing wrong with being gay. And if you are using that as an insult, that says a lot about you and not me. Because we stand gays here, although I'm
Yes.
not. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.
Sleep in, but I've made a priority to get up, at 5:45 every day so I can get in the gym with you at 6. And I think those decisions for me as a wife has shown so much in our connection and this commitment for the long run. And also it's helped me elevate my own self of like, I can keep my commitments. It's been a powerful journey for me over the last 3 years that as a wife, like I
Literally the perfect time.
The fireworks are next level.
Oh my God. Imagine using gay as an insult.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. Peace out, Quinn. Have the day you deserve. So I hope it's bad.
Cute. There's a shirt on TikTok I want, and it says "Have the day you deserve." And I keep looking at it. I haven't bought it, but I want it. I keep looking at it. I just haven't done it.
You should get it.
I should get it. I should. Yeah. We also love the days. We love the gays. We love the theys. And if that's not your vibe, maybe this is not the stream for you. And if you're going to use being a gay or a they as an insult, maybe, you should go talk to somebody about that, because it sounds like, there may be some things going on that a professional can help you work through. Sounds like you're having some big feelings. That's okay. It's okay. Yeah. It's all right.
I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I wanted to commit to it. For a lot of years. I wanted to make that commitment to work out with you and make that a priority, but I just kept holding myself back. And
you guys, Susan has entered the chat.
Y'all, hearts and hype in the chat for Susan to cheer her on for her show. We love a hype moment. Love it.
We were just talking about you earlier, Susan, and how your show is on Sunday. So I was telling everybody that we're cheering you on. Let's get this pro card. Check this off the list. Let's keep moving,
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have made that shift earlier on, but here we are, 3 years, we're celebrating.
But also every person knows where they're weak. And you and I showing up at the gym when we felt like it, we realized that was a habit that we were just not getting breakthrough in. So we needed to put literally our money where our mouth was and say, we need a trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we need told what to do? All of us need told what to do in an area of our life. Some of you are stronger than us in one area, and we're stronger than you. And that's why you're either going to pay for it through education, or you're going to pay and learn it, or you're going to pay for it and have somebody do it with you and for you at the same time. And that's an area that to this day, 3 years later, we're stronger, we're fitter, but it's because we have paid for it. Now, one other thing while I'm on the topic, Tia, of paying for it.
We're stronger, we're fitter, but it's because we've paid for it. So am I hearing you say you didn't put the work in? Because earlier that was kind of your argument. We put the work in, so that justified us having whatever surgery. So I'm just...
Yeah. What a circular argument. What a circular, twisty, logic, a lack of a logical trail, Doug. Come on. Oh. Mid-sized Blondie said a trainer that allegedly takes steroids. So, okay. Interesting.
That is interesting. Isn't steroid use in guys? Doesn't that contribute to breast tissue?
Yep. Ask Jax Taylor.
I'm just asking a question. I don't know.
It does.
I don't know about the timing, but I'm just... I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know. Brian, member for 6 months. Appreciate you so much. How much did you pay, Doug? Thank you for being a member. That's awesome. Appreciate you.
I want to get to my recent surgery that I had, and also your rumored butt enhancement.
That's just
a lot of rumors
just
about
being where
I'm enhanced my butt, but it's with exercises in the gym. Highly suggest.
from and my genetics.
It's corn fed, by the way, y'all. That is
corn fed.
That
somebody let Kelsey.
That man-made vegetable that don't grow in the ground.
Somebody call Kelsey Ray to tell her that Doug and Tia Wood are talking about eating corn because it is man-made and it is fake and it is not grown out of the ground. I wish I was kidding. I wish if you don't follow me on Instagram, go look at not my post from today, but the one from the other day, the reel.
I'm just playing that corn. It has the that corn song on the internet. Karina knows what song I'm talking about. Corn, it has the juice or something.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of right now when you're talking about Kelsey Ray.
Oh my God. Jen says, who's getting ready to get married. We're down to days, right? Like
Days.
days.
3 days. Let's go.
Jen says 11 months in an inclusive place. Love this for me. Thank you for being a member for 11 months. And yes, everybody's welcome here. But if you're gonna be a jerk, bye-bye. Goodbye. Anyways, yeah, thank you for being a member. You guys are awesome.
I do a lot of squats.
And
too.
Tia does a lot of squats. But well, I guess we already gave it away because I was going to make people think, what? Tia had a butt enhancement? Because some of you actually ask her friends if she has. Or, yeah.
No, I
anyway.
haven't.
Okay. So I am so
They probably have to ask those questions because you guys aren't upfront with what you are doing / taking.
Yep.
Also, so Doug just had this surgery. Apparently he had like a facelift and like different things done, a nose job. Wasn't it not that long ago that he was talking about, he had a picture of like boots or something? Do you remember this? And he was like, listen, it's time for us to strap on in and da da da, all of that, talking about putting the Gucci away and, all of that stuff. And it's like, didn't he disappear? Because I mean, rightfully so, if you're recovering from surgery, but how interesting to go from, oh, we're going to strap on our boots and it's time to put the work in. And then it's like, oh, got a facelift. Hi. I'm sure you've been wondering where I have been.
Yep.
Weird, right?
Yeah. So strange. Doug.
So weird.
getting out of debt and living a debt-free life.
Yes.
T and I, what do we have? Do we owe on 2 things in our life, T?
I mean, I prefer doing step-ups. Thanks to Susan teaching me about step-ups for glute work. Although it does hit some quads as well. I prefer step-ups for that. Just my personal opinion based on my experience.
I think we owe on 2 of our 4 properties.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we own 4.
too.
Well, we're kind of telling our business here, but yeah, we owe on.
Doug, you've been telling your business, none of which should have been on this podcast or put out publicly, in my opinion. Yikes.
We own
Mortgages,
four. We own 4 homes or properties or whatever, and we owe on 2 of them. That's the only thing.
Is corn vegan free? Y'all are wild.
We owe on everything else. We live a paid for life, but we sacrificed to get here. We lived lean for a long time. Okay, but when we got Tia's boob job and I got my mastectomy or whatever it is, where I got mine removed, we were not out of debt.
A mansectomy? I don't think that's what that's called.
I don't either.
I don't even think it's called a mastectomy, is it?
Well, I think for
I have to look it up.
breast tissue, I think it's a mastectomy.
Is it? I'll look
But
it up. I'll hit play, but I'm gonna look that up because now I'm curious.
yeah, but he definitely said mansectomy, so I don't. What the hell?
What I don't I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even we're just gonna keep it moving.
Oh, okay.
And we did not go into debt.
Sorry.
You're good. I think Emery said it's gender affirming surgery. I was mostly talking about in the case of like cancer or like I know what it's called.
Gynecomasty. Gynecomasty, is that how you say that?
Gotcha.
Thank you, Brian. I was gonna look it up because I was like, I feel like it's called something else. Yeah. All right, let's keep moving.
To do it.
But knowing what I know now, had we been putting in the work, those surgeries combined, yours were 6 or 8. My mastectomy was about 8.
Yeah.
So that $16,000, I would have refied the house.
Totally.
Or I would have
drove one car for a while.
I would have done that 5 or 10 years earlier, knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
Like that's something that I'm glad we didn't wait any longer.
Yeah.
Again, we weren't out of debt when we did it, and I'm so glad we weren't.
Yeah.
Like that is an area that has, again, because our marriage, we were both pursuing the same things. Again, we didn't do it as a save our marriage. There was already trust there. So the better Tia looks, the more confident I get. Since there's safety at home.
Right.
I know that your eyes are for me only. And you know that my eyes and we have such trust with each other.
Except earlier you said that your eyes aren't only for her because of your have it.
Yeah, when you wearing your sunglasses so you can look at people looking at you like, "What, sir? Excuse me. What's happening?"
The rules don't apply to him, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah.
that it wasn't something like, man, now the hotter she gets, because you and I coach people,
Yeah.
they're actually, their spouse is a sabotager to them. It's more so the husband.
There's codependency.
There's codependency. And if I can keep my wife 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight,
That
she might
that's
not
safe.
leave me.
Right.
It's safe. And so they actually sabotage their journey. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that type of stuff. Okay. That's a whole nother set of things that I would challenge you to talk about. And
go find a counselor.
yes,
With
coaching
a coach.
therapy is
Yeah.
so rewarded in 2024.
There's lots
15
of
years
marriage
ago,
retreats and stuff.
15 years ago, there was shame around I'm in therapy. Now I actually think there's shame if you're not in therapy or coaching or
Yeah.
counseling, because if you want to get better, you have forced conversations.
Yeah.
Or you force conversation to grow in it. But I would say, if you've considered any type of surgery, I would say do it. You'll be glad you did after you have found the doctor, after you've met with them, after you're comfortable, after you know all the pros. I don't know if there's really any cons. I mean, of course, there's always a risk, but I'm so glad you and I both did those original surgeries early, Tia.
Yeah.
And didn't wait, because we've seen the people that have waited.
Right.
And sadly, they're not who they wanted to be, and they're so far that they never ended up having it.
Yeah. And we made sacrifices in other areas of our life, like eating out and coffee. I remember in that season, because I wanted this so badly for myself.
Yeah.
It was a commitment that I was invested.
I mean, but did you want it for yourself? Because this entire podcast makes me just the things that she has said and the things that he has said make me feel like she did not get these for her, that she got it because of Doug's views and, his dreams for Tia's body. And that's alarming.
Investing in my future. And so I said no to things so that I
Right.
could invest to get my boobs done and also your skin removal. So I think, yes, we didn't go in debt to do it. We were in debt.
Yeah.
We had other areas that we were still cleaning up, but we hustled
Yeah.
and we got uncomfortable to create the income, and we got creative. So if I could go back, I would have, just had one car or figured out a way that we could have done it sooner.
Yeah. And I just want to stop before I tell about my recent surgery. I just want to stop and give a big shout out to all the clients and the coaches right now rocking the Optavia
Come
program,
on.
because it's
Oh.
early February and people are reaching new heights, new levels in their health that they've never done before. And they're like, oh my gosh, now that Optavia has 5 programs,
Yeah.
5 programs, not just the 5-in-1.
I mean, they're not really additional programs. It's just different calorie intakes. And then they've added their essential amino acids in a protein shake, and they're calling it a new program. Stop. Stop it.
God.
We have the 3-in-3 active, the 4-in-2 active. You and I live the 3-in-3
Yeah.
active lifestyle. People are crushing their goals.
Yeah.
I've even been off the gym the last 3 weeks. I've been taking our brand new EAAs,
2 times a day.
and I didn't lose any muscle over the
No.
last 3 weeks. And I'm so freaking proud of you guys out there, because you're
One thing I have learned from Susan is it is harder to build muscle than it is to lose muscle.
Mm.
Drinking EAAs is not going to prevent you from losing muscle over 3 weeks. Stop it.
killing
that-
program.
Oh,
People
I'm
that
sorry.
are
Is that like a false equivalence fallacy where they're like, what is it when you're saying that something's attributed to something else, but it's not actually? Like, what is that called?
I just think that's a lie. I think what he's saying is a lie. Because if there were truth to what he was saying, there would be studies done on Optavia's EAAs that would back that up.
Yeah,
It would be on the NIH website, like, oh yeah, this has been proven and studied to blah, blah, blah. And here's the details on those studies. It's not. It's like BCAAs. It's not been shown to do anything significant according to the NIH website.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
following the program are getting major results. And a shout out to all of you on the Optavia plan, because you know what? That's the one we've been coaching. We've been living for 14 years. And there was even a time a year or two ago, people were like, man, did that work? Or I've tried that. Well, you haven't tried it.
Yeah.
You haven't followed it because it works. And now that they enhanced it. So anyway, if you're not crushing your health right now, I encourage you to reach out to a coach
Yeah.
who coaches the Optavia plans, one of the 5, and explore with them. Get some accountability.
Yeah.
Find something easy that you can follow. If you want to have a surgery, great. Follow a plan.
Yeah.
Follow a
Oh, okay. Put the work in. Make sure that you get on the Optavia plan, and then it's okay. You have his permission to get whatever surgery. Is that like that's not how that works, Doug. Also, what people choose to do with their bodies, or working with professionals, working with their doctors, and let's say that their doctor suggests them taking weight loss medication or any medication or having surgery or whatever, is none of your business. None of it. None of your business.
Yeah.
get the
Unbelievable.
weight off and then go have the dang surgery.
Yeah.
You'll be so glad you did.
Yeah. So let's talk about what happened the last month.
Gosh. Well, all right. So the last couple months, actually the last year or so, I've gotten extremely leaner.
Yeah, we did
And
2
healthier.
fitness shows. Yep.
We've done 2 physique shows, which we got to do an episode about that, T.
Yeah.
All the
I guess
thoughts.
we haven't really fully talked about that.
Paging Susan. Paging Susan. That will be one that we should probably react to.
Paging Susan to aisle 1. Paging Susan to aisle 1. Doug's being wild on the internet.
We haven't. All the thoughts and opinions that
Yes.
come with, well, right now we're talking about opinions because a lot of people are going to have great opinions about this. I'm excited. Yeah. Hey, if this is blessing you, though, I do encourage you to share this episode, screenshot it, put it on story, tag us, promote this. T and I don't ask for anything back. In fact, since Doug Unplugged originally started, I've had more people reach out to me.
Doug Unplugged? Isn't
Yeah.
this Doug and Thea Unplugged?
Yeah, I think he forgot that he had a partner for like the whole time. Someone is asking what a physique show is, and that is probably like maybe some people don't know about fitness shows or anything like that. So if you want to tell them.
Well, I don't think I should be the one to explain that, but if Susan wants to explain it in the comments, I know that that's a class within bodybuilding competitions, but if
Yeah.
Susan wants to explain that in the comments, that would be
Yeah.
cool. And if not, because she's
And maybe
in peak week here, so
maybe you can pin her
Yeah.
answer so people in my chat can see it too.
absolutely.
Asking, I say more people. I've had about 7 companies, I think maybe 8 now, 7 or 8 reach out asking if they can pay me to advertise on the show. And I said, this is something that I love to do. I'm not accepting any money. I hate listening to podcasts where there's like tons of interruptions and stuff like that. So if T and I use it and we believe in it, we promote it.
Yeah.
If we don't accept money for anything. But how this podcast can grow is if you share it with people that need to hear it. And so all our ask in return is that you share this with a couple of people or you promote it publicly to get more people, listening.
Physique show is just a bodybuilding show. Men and women wear teeny tiny thingies and parade on stage and pose with weird dark tans.
Love it.
Thanks, Susan.
To the show because we're willing to go deeper and we want to hear from you what topics you want to talk about. But I got extremely leaner, the leanest I've ever been since I've started, especially working out, Tia.
Yeah.
And it created
Is it the peptides?
Mhm.
Is it the things that you've done that you haven't been truthful about using, allegedly?
Mhm.
Interesting.
because we all carry our weight somewhere. And for me, it's always been shoulders, chest, and neck, and even face a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I've told you, my irritation with my skin under my neck. And I call it the gobble neck. I have a chicken neck. And it became more and more evident while the leaner I got.
Yeah.
And
Phoenix would ride on your
And
shoulders.
I put my son on my shoulders and he would grab onto my neck skin as like, that's where he would hang on, because most kids either hold on to something or going to hold on to your head or whatever.
And he's like a touch. So he's just like always
unconsciously, he would put his 2 hands below my neck and he would hold on with one and he would.
Just let her talk, Doug. Just let her talk.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. We have a little visitor.
Yes.
If you guys would like to see a little floof break.
Is it a
Wait,
day
what?
ending in a Y? Heck yes. Aw.
No, she's just sitting there staring at me. So I'll try to grab her in a second.
Play, literally with his thumb and his index finger, he would rub my skin together, and I'd literally slap his hand away like, "Stop, don't touch me." That just he's like, "Oh, sorry, Daddy, sorry." I'm like, just but created so much insecurity.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
insecurity. It wasn't uncomfortable. You slapped your kid for no reason. It was just
Mhm.
for you. Like, what about communicating, saying like, "Hey, I would prefer that you not do that with my skin." Like, oh my, okay, okay. It said it didn't hurt him. It was just an insecurity. Like, oh, come on, dude.
Mhm. Because if he communicated that, "Hey, I don't like that, it makes me uncomfortable," that would be establishing a healthy boundary in a way that a child who was on his shoulders at the time would easily be able to understand.
Yeah.
You know. Also, this is for you, DC.
Thank you so much, Brian. Let's go. You're
Brian's
so close
flexing
to
and
a
we
red-
love it.
Brian is so close to a red lint roller. I can't wait. Month 6. Let's go.
That's very exciting. Come here. Come here. Come and say hi. to
Luna, Luna, Luna.
She's just, you know how they just sit just a little bit out of reach. Like, I'm gonna cry and I want you to pick me up, but I'm gonna stay at arm's distance just to make it difficult. That's currently what she's doing.
Yep.
Oh, now she left. Okay, we'll come back. She'll come back.
In me. And again, our philosophy is if you don't like it and you've done everything you can to work for it,
Yeah.
well, then you got to get the doctor's help if you can
Yeah.
afford it.
Yeah.
And so finally you're like, Doug, quit complaining about this and just go do it.
Yeah.
So I went and met with a surgeon. I'm like, this will be really good. I'll do it after my last show. I went and met with a surgeon. They couldn't get me in until January 12th. They're like, hey, it's not going to take that much. It's not going to take that long. And, the recovery is not going to be bad because I'm like, I can't do it in January, February, March are like grind months. I like work 60 to 70 hours a week during these times because, man, everyone's wanting to get healthy and there's a lot of work to be done. And he's like, oh, no, you'll be sore, for a few days. But while I was in there, so I got a quote on getting basically all the skin from my neck. While I was in there, though, he says, hey, let me look at your nose. And he looked at my nose and he looked up my
Oh yeah, so he's upselling you.
Yep.
Got it.
nose. He goes, when did you have your nose broke? And I'm like, I didn't. He goes, yeah, your nose has been broke at some point in your life. And he's like, it's causing some major
You didn't
blockage up there.
yeah.
And he described like, how's
Which
your
you
sleep?
always
Yes.
get
And I'm just
super
like,
nasally.
I get
breathe.
these colds.
Yeah, and remember
Allergy
allergies
season.
in
Let her
2021, we went to Houston to figure out, get this remedy.
I flew to Houston just to try to figure out what was wrong with my nose. And at the same time, he's like, Doug, dude, your nose is jacked up. He goes, at some point, you're going to have surgery to get your nose realigned, refixed, cleaned out, septums, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, well, we'll get after it. I'm like, let's fix it all. At the same time, yes, I do get Botox every now and then. They wouldn't do Botox above my eyelids because
Did he disclose that he was getting Botox? Because I don't recall seeing that ever. Not that I don't think there's anything wrong with Botox. Do it to it, But did he disclose that in the before and after pictures? Because I don't
Nope.
remember seeing that.
Nope, he did not. He did not.
Melissa, member for 1 month. Thank you so much. Let her talk, Doug. Get your personality cleaned out, please. That's awesome. Thanks for being a member.
droopy
I
eyelids
love
it.
again
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
70.
Go ahead.
I just love that he was like, I've never broken my nose. And the surgeon's like, oh no, you've broken your nose.
Definitely
you need
have.
it fixed. And it's like, it's literally an upsell. It's literally an upsell. Maybe
we're
he
gonna
did
be-
have deviated septum. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I can just see, and I don't know if all plastic surgeons are like this, but hey, while I'm in there, it'd be really easy to just add this.
Yep.
I'm already in there, not a big deal. I could clean all that up.
Yep.
Well, how much extra is that? Oh, it's only blah, blah, blah. Wild.
A deal.
It's a package deal.
pounds of weight that would often be carried in my body. So when I
Yeah.
would smile, you couldn't see my eyes.
Like now you see your eyes. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
Look at that. And I have a little bit of, for those of you watching this on the YouTube channel, but you can see there's a scar right above my eye.
For those of you that are watching it on our YouTube channel, we appreciate y'all.
Yes, we do.
This is only
Did they post this to their YouTube channel? No, they did not. So
Excellent.
I was like, oh my God, this will be great. We can watch something. Nope. Wasn't there. Wasn't there the
No.
day that it dropped. So maybe somebody
And
forgot to upload it.
fired straight to jail.
3 weeks old. That'll fully heal. He went ahead and removed the skin above my eyelids and took away my droopy eyelids.
What did he
Puffy pads. I'm like, well, while you're in there, doc, like, let's just
take care of
turn
it?
into Barry Manilow, baby, like me and Michael Jackson. So
Oh,
I'm like, no,
stop.
I don't want nothing fake. Look, he's like, but hey, while I'm already in there, you're already going to be under. And man, I got these puffy pads.
Didn't I just say that?
Yep. You did.
Well, while I'm in there, it'd be very easy.
You called it.
Wild. That's so wild.
Mm-hmm.
Under my eyelids. I got the droopy eye.
I was his nurse
lids
for
done
a couple weeks.
And totally fixed my nose. And then, of course, my neck, it's still not quite healed.
It's happening.
But
Looking good, baby.
Yeah.
Looking good.
My daughter called me snatched. What does snatched mean?
This means like you got that kind of that jawline snatch.
Snatched. So I guess I'm snatched. No, I'm only 3.5 weeks post-op. It was far more brutal of a surgery and recovery, doing all that at once.
Yeah, that's a lot of surgeries. He had his eyes done. He had his nose done. What did he go in originally for?
His neck.
His neck.
Yeah. So they tightened all the skin around his neck. So that's painful. That's it. I mean, for sure. And the nose, painful. And
that makes my neck hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine all of that at one time.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
I would have never planned it in January because it cost me some time.
Mm-hmm.
I did, in full transparency, I did deal with a minor depression week 2 that I had not dealt with since Oregon.
Minor, but you came through.
I call it minor because it only lasted about 6-7 days.
Yeah.
But I was under for almost 8 hours.
Yeah.
This surgery was intensive. Yeah, I was pretty bruised and blacked up. I'm sure they'll post some photos up with this. I'm going to talk about here on Instagram and Facebook.
We're going to talk about depression here soon on one of our.
Please don't, because y'all are not professionals, and in my opinion, should not be giving advice to anybody about depression ever.
Jeez.
Hate it.
Good night, Karina.
Night, Karina.
Episodes coming up.
Yeah. Gosh,
it's a real thing people are dealing with.
It was scary, Tia. It was, I say scary. When you're in the middle of it, you just don't know when it's going to end.
Yeah. I wasn't scared because I had full faith. And I mean, I pray and bless my worship. But I mean, I was definitely concerned that your mind was where it was at. But I also was like, God, I know you're with him.
Yeah.
But depression is very real. And I mean, suicide and things that are happening in culture right now, it's like, we need to talk about it. And I'm grateful for our friends.
And no shame.
Mention of self-harm, FYI, mention of self-harm.
Oh, God. You think they couldn't cover all these topics and then they end up. And it's not about it's not us about like, not wanting to talk about difficult things. It's about the lack of a freaking content warning, Doug and Tia. Normally when you include stuff like that, it's like, hey, this is what we're covering. If you want to avoid it, you can, because sometimes these topics are really sensitive and triggering for people. And it's not about not wanting to like be able to brush up against them in the world. It's just, if you're already sensitive to it, it's nice to have a content warning.
Yeah. Agreed. Just want to give everybody. Okay, here we go.
If anyone does deal with suicide, I'm just saying I wasn't dealing with that because I've been on this journey long enough to know that either it's just a season.
Right.
If you're going through a hard time, friends out there, it's just a season.
That's good.
You will get through.
Yep.
I know so.
Amen.
You cannot quit. Quitting is not an option. Okay. If you're going through hell, why stay there?
Mm-hmm.
Get through it. Keep going. Put the gas pedal down. Go hard.
Decide. Do it. Just decide. What the flippity flop, Doug? What are you saying? Like, oh, if people could just decide not to be depressed, people would already do that, you numpty. And I'm sorry for calling a name. I am frustrated because people who actually struggle with this, if they haven't ever been able to get actual care from a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or medicine, they're going to buy into this stuff from Doug Wood that like, oh, just decide. And it puts you in an extra vulnerable spot because you're already vulnerable if you're struggling with your mental health. God.
I just can't imagine thinking that people choose to be depressed by what he's saying. Oh, just decide to not be. Oh, okay. So what you're saying is people choose to be depressed. People choose to say, I'm going to be extra sad. People don't choose that.
Yep.
That's so weird to me.
Yep.
Oh, Karina, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Or go louder, go firmer.
Yep.
And so I knew, I just didn't know how long though. It was a dark 7 days.
Yeah.
Because then I started feeling and here's where we wanted to wrap up. I started feeling all the insecurities of what a vein surgery this was.
What are people going to think?
No.
Oh,
well,
that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think people are remembering what you said. We'll use the boot picture as an example. I wish I had that here. I don't. But he talked about strapping his boots on. And I think Thea in one of her stories was like, these next 90 days. And here they have disappeared from social media for weeks. And it's like, people are going to see the hypocrisy. And they are seeing it. And they've been seeing it for quite some time. But here we have it on full blast. And, he's like, oh, well, I was just, worried about what people would think and how vain it is and this and that. Because in my opinion, maybe it looks like that to people. I don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
That's I put my own thoughts.
Well, you'd care what I think. I'm like, you got this rack. I'm like, yeah, so what I dealt with was now this surgery that I chose to have for me is now affecting my business because again, I would have never done it in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm too busy right now. So I was canceling appointments. I couldn't go to our Valor Global online retreat.
Mm-hmm.
I was still swollen. I was stung like a bee. It would have been a big distraction. Also mentally, I wasn't in a position to give. Tia, you and I give out a lot and I just needed to receive. And it was a huge spiritual breakthrough week in my third week. But I felt vain because I'm like, man, I didn't even need this. This wasn't like the nose thing eventually I would have, but it wasn't life threatening. But I was just like, this is so like.
But the nose was the biggest part.
The nose is what caused me
so much of the length of recovery.
The bruising, the swelling, that's even my face right now. I'm
Inflammation.
still swelled. I'm only about 80% recovered, but I still have a lot of inflammation in my face. I'm doing this because I don't care.
So he didn't want to show up because of how he looked. But my question, because I don't know the answer to this, is did he tell people ahead of time he was having this done and that he wouldn't be around? Or did he just have the surgery and then disappear? Because I don't know the answer to that. Because if he told people ahead of time that he was having this surgery, I feel like being worried about his appearance in the healing process, wouldn't have been so serious, wouldn't have been so shocking. That's a better word. But if he didn't tell people and then he was like, oh, I can't show up. I think he said it was a virtual something. I think that's what he said. And he's like, I couldn't show up to this because, swollen and bruising and this and that. Well, but if you told people and they knew to expect that and maybe asked how you were feeling and this and that, they would be prepared for that. So I don't know. I just have questions around that because MLMers are taught to show up, leaders show up. And here he is saying that he didn't show up. But why?
Yep. Because his excuse or his reasoning why was acceptable and nobody else's is acceptable. So, in my opinion.
Yeah. Interesting.
I'll show you guys. I'll talk about anything. But no, so these are just things to consider if you are going to have a surgery. Give yourself a couple of good weeks
time
and do them in seasons that are not push and go seasons. Take them in seasons that you can rest. And I couldn't mentally rest because I was just like the demand. And then I was canceling meetings to you. And I just felt like, dude, I'm letting my team down. I'm letting people down. I'm letting you down. I'm letting my girls and Phoenix down. I'm letting my school down. And that was, and everyone's like, you're fine, Doug. You're fine, Doug. And I'm just like, no, for the goer, the pusher, I wasn't fine. But also God met me there, Tia. And it turned out to be a miracle 3 weeks. And I'm so glad I did it. I still would have done it probably in maybe August or maybe like a November or December, which I originally was planning on it. But yeah, I'm glad I did it. I'm starting to like the results. Again, most people can't notice, but again, it doesn't matter. It's not for other people.
Yeah.
I noticed, and I feel good. And
It's not for other people, but he was worried about how it would be received with him being bruised and swollen.
Yep. It doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, at least just say it. Like, you could easily say, look, other people's opinion does matter to me. I care about how I look in front of other people. That would be more honest than this back and forth. And that's I feel like that's kind of neutral. Like, I think we say like, oh no, that's unacceptable. Like, if you do care about what other people think about you, okay, be honest with yourself about it so that you can present who you are in an honest way to others, and don't say like, oh, I don't care. But you do care.
Yeah. I think that the people that are the most judgmental, and the reason I'm saying this is because at the beginning of this, he was talking about not judging people and then went into judging people. I think the people, and this is just my opinion, that are judging others the harshest are the ones that are the most insecure.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing here, and again, just my opinion, but I think this has been a display of his insecurities.
Mm.
And I think it's sad. I don't think what he's doing is okay. I don't think the conversation that he is having is okay. I don't think any of it is okay. But I think what we're seeing is, and this is, again, I'm going to say just my opinion, but I think this is a very fragile male ego.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? On this side of eternity, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to pray like it depends on God. I'm going to act like it depends on me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get the doctor's help to start utilizing the tool. I was talking to somebody this morning. We bumped into Eric Hunsberger over at the
That's right.
over at the coffee shop a few minutes ago. And he said, we were just talking about medically supported weight loss, how it's just a tool to get someone where you want to go. I said, if you meet somebody that says they're trying to quit smoking and they have a patch on their arm, a nicotine patch.
Yeah.
Do you shame them?
No.
You what? No, you're like, dude, good on you.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to quit. It's a tool to help you.
Yeah.
There are so many tools too. We got to do a whole episode on tools.
Yeah.
We use a ton of tools to act and live the way we do. We have to start tapping into the tools, and we shouldn't be shaming other people's tools.
Yeah.
It worked for them. It's what they needed.
Yeah.
And there are so many tools.
How soon he forgets that they were just shaming people that use weight loss medications.
Yeah.
What?
Tools that God has given either to doctors, to pharmacists, to coaches,
Homeopathic remedies
yes,
that are from the earth.
That if someone is trying to better themselves, who are we to say, oh, I heard about that, be careful? Like, well, guess what? I've heard about your bad attitude. I need to be careful getting around you. I need to be careful following you.
That feels like an elementary school recess, like back and forth between two people, like beefing, if you will. Like, oh yeah, well, I heard that you're smelly. That's what that feels like.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I heard that you didn't do your homework last night. Like, that's
Yep. That's exactly what
oh yeah, well, I heard about your negative attitude. I
Yep.
need to be careful about hanging out with you. Like, just oh, we've officially reached that point where I'm in a silly, goofy mood. So
love it. Love it.
I apologize.
On Instagram. Thank you for that comment. Now I know who to unfollow.
Right.
Because I need to be careful listening to negativity like you. Like that's the type of mindset we gotta toughen up, because I forward anybody.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
Yep.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, it's just like all those evil trolls, like, it's like, I'm just it's just Doug. The Doug energy feels like this to me. It's just
Yeah.
My dad could be
Doug.
Yes.
That's the energy of this.
Risks in everything.
Yeah.
So who are we to say, well, shouldn't do that. You're getting too skinny. You're getting too blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Just some of you guys just
Take
need
your own
to tell
advice,
some people to
Doug.
shut
Well, I got to see two women that were on the cover. I don't know if they were on the full cover of People magazine over the last couple of years because Optavia always gets featured because of our amazing results. And
Is it, or is it because you guys pay to be featured? Because those are two very different things. Just
Very
asking for
thing.
our friends.
Yep.
Because I bet they pay to be featured.
Yep. I think
one
so
of them
too.
had lost 330
my-
pounds.
Sorry, what'd you say?
No, I think so too. I mean, they come across, it seems like they would be the type of people who would pay for their and you absolutely, like, you see these things that are being promoted in magazines or people who get on the covers of things. There's magazines where you have to pay to be a part of that. So that's normal. That's normal in the magazine world because magazines have to make money too. So
Yeah, it's a business.
yep.
I met her. She reminded me that I met her, but she would have been close to 400 pounds when I met her on our Massive Momentum tour almost 5.5 years ago. She said she had just started on our program at that time. She went on to lose 330 pounds and has now had skin removal both on her arms and her legs. This year she'll go to do her stomach. She looks phenomenal. She's heading into her 60s. Her husband just sometimes does a double take at her sometimes. It's just like, she says it's like just what it's done for their marriage. And then I connected with Brittany in Colorado.
I caught you taking a double take at me the other day.
Yeah, you're fun to look at for me. You're all mine. And then
I just don't want to know, honestly. Like, I'm sorry. I just don't want to know. Doug, I just don't honestly.
Sorry, I had
My brain. We need all the sound bites. Like, I just don't want to know. Good night, Emery.
Good night, Emery. Yeah, I don't want to know. And yet here we are.
Here we are.
Brittany lost 200 pounds, babe. And she was on People magazine, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And she has now a whole wall of all these medals from different runs she's done. She's done skin removal as well. Because, when you've carried 200, 300 pounds on your body, that's a lot of trauma. That's not just this generation. That's not you in the last 40 years. That is a compound of generations of trauma, the way you were born, the DNA. And now
Alcoholism.
Let her talk, Doug. She's mid-sentence. Let her talk.
Yeah.
That you were born into.
yeah.
Well, sorry.
now you're
addiction.
I just don't think you can. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a nosy person on the internet who's listened to 10, probably 60 hours of Doug Wood at this point. He interrupts Thea like it's going out of style, and he seems to want every single piece of attention on himself. And he can't even let her finish a sentence.
Welcome, Dave. Glad you're here. This is wild. This is wild.
You were
breaking.
born
You're
into.
breaking that off. So she has not only
Food addiction you were born into.
this is what's so powerful about her journey is like thousands of pounds have been lost in her family since she made a decision. So anyway, I just believe this part of the journey for many of us is a next step.
Yeah.
If you're in that place of like, I'm doing everything in my power. I'm eating the proper nutrition. I'm drinking the water. I'm getting my workouts in, but the skin is still there.
Yeah.
Just explore it. And you are your greatest investment and you have a whole life to live. I mean, I have another 50 years in me.
Yeah.
I believe,
We might get those puppies enhanced one more time in the next 50 years.
we'll probably have to do that for sure. But
Excuse me? I'm throwing a link in both of our live chats about a systematic review of evidence if there is anything about food addiction. It's from the NIH. So if you want to take a look at that, we obviously can't debunk every single thing that Doug is saying as he's going, but we're trying to cite sources that are trustworthy. But like, why would Doug say we might get those things enhanced again in the next 50 years? Like, ew. And body parts shouldn't be gross. Like, it shouldn't be gross. He is treating her like an object, like she's only good enough to house big boobs.
Just how uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We can do that.
You'll be
We can
like
take care of it.
75 pointing at the
Dolly
mic.
Parton. Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. But hey, you know what?
She looks amazing.
She does, and good on her because she likes them really big.
She loves him really
Good on
big.
her.
Yeah.
Who are we to say that that's not okay?
No, she looks amazing. So hey, if I can look like that when I'm that old, I'll be doing good.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
God.
you know, I agree. I agree. I agree. That's good.
Of course he's going to agree because he was talking about him wanting Tia to have big breasts earlier. So of course he's going to be like, no, I think, go big. Oh,
Yikes.
oh my God.
Good way to end out. If this has blessed you, please share it.
We love you
If you're
guys.
not
No.
following us on Instagram
No.
or Facebook at The Real Dougwood.
We're done with that. We're done.
Oh, we have a song. Hold on. We got a song we got to play. It's here we go. It's Dora the Explorer. Or-
We did it! We did it! We did it! Yeah! We team up! We did it! We did it!
we do
That
that
was a
whenever we
lot.
suffer through something awful. So,
That was a lot.
jeez. Wow.
Are y'all okay?
I don't even know how to process everything we just listened to. I was expecting it to be like bad, but it exceeded my expectations in the worst way possible.
Yeah. I have the ick.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go take a shower. Like, I'm a little twitchy. I'm a little itchy. Like, I'm just, ew. Ew.
Ugh. I don't think any of us are okay. That was a lot. But the reason we're talking about this is because this is what they use as a type of funnel to try and prey on other people to join their multi-level marketing company. And it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. And they are using this podcast to try to recruit people into Optavia. If you think it's anything different, I would say you're wrong. Like, they also recruit for their online school called Valor Global, whatever it is. It is
Horrifying.
It's wild. And the more people I've talked to who have escaped Optavia, because I'm going to say escape because it's really hard leaving a multi-level marketing company. It is really hard. And the more people I've talked to, the more people have said, like, yeah, I ended up with an eating disorder when I was in, or my view of food is so warped. I don't know how to untangle all of the stuff that I picked up when I was in. And they either have to work with a therapist or registered dietitian or somebody to like help them unlearn all this stuff and also heal their metabolism from eating so few calories for so many years. Optavia is not it, in my opinion.
Agreed.
It's dangerous, in my opinion, especially when you have an unsophisticated volunteer sales force, as the CEO of Beachbody says, that applies here too, selling this stuff just for commission's sake. I mean, it's wild. Nobody has any licensure or certifications to move this product, and they're giving food recommendations to people that registered dietitians have to go to a ton of clinical work and schooling to be able to do this, and even certified for personal trainers, like you got to go through a lot of studying to be able to do anything.
That's so true because I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
I also think that the spiritual manipulation that this company, and in particular Doug and Tia, use is also very confusing for people, depending on their beliefs. And removing that aspect from the manipulation tactics and questioning, well, what do I believe? Because all of it has been lumped in together, I think is really, really hard to unwrap.
And for like people who grew up in kind of the Christian sphere, them saying that your body is a temple and it's a direct reflection of your relationship and the health of your relationship with God, and that the health should be you being a thin person, it can really mess up your mind because it's one, not true. I'm not commenting on Christianity. I'm talking about your body is just your body. It doesn't have anything to do with like how much you sin or how much you whatever. Like it's just like what Aaron was saying, the way that they twist religion to get you to swipe your credit card is awful. It's awful.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, we appreciate y'all being here. Friendly reminder, don't be a creep at the gym. Okay. Or a creep in the comments. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And if you haven't already, if you would like both of the streams on both of our channels, that would be incredible because we are streaming on 2 different channels. And subscribe helps us get the word out so people don't fall victim. I'm going to use the word victim to these types of MLM tactics, recruiting tactics, manipulation tactics, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, appreciate y'all so much. DC, thanks for doing this with me. I appreciate you. This was a rough one.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I had a great time. Well, I had a great time streaming with you. I didn't have a great time listening to Doug be Doug, but live chat, you've been incredible.
Same.
Replay crew, much non-culty love to you. Let us know what you think in the comments. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next video.
Should I play the rest of the intro as an outro?
Yes, you
What do
should.
think? Because I feel bad that I shorted the incredible intro that you made.
No, it's great. It's like a summation of all the bad things that Doug said in this. So we're good. It'd be
Okay,
great.
great.
It's him working out. So yeah.
All right. All right. We're going to do that. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody. Give me a second to get this together, too, by the way.
We don't want Hollywood to be the role models for our kids. We wanted to be the role models for our kids. And so now my daughters see the confidence I walk in. And, you know, I mean, for some of my friends are like, wow, you just walk naked in front of your girls. And it's like, yeah, and they walk naked in front of me. Yeah.
Butts, boobs, and ding-dongs all start looking the same. And that's an area that, to this
We've
day,
invested into.
3 years later,
Yep.
we're stronger, we're fitter, but it's because we have paid for it.
Because out of there flows everything. And so, you know, Doug and I talked about it. And I'm like, babe, I really think I need to, you know, get this taken care of. And you were like 1,000% on board. And so I went and got a tummy tuck in 2018. And it was the best decision of my life. Yeah.
And you got enhancements.
And I got enhancements. Yeah. That was in 2010.
Yeah.
And that was right after I lost my 40 pounds. And it was everything for us in our intimacy, in our marriage.